Chapter 589, Sweeping Elites. Chapter 589, Sweeping Elites. Who? A domineering wave swept everyone, like solidified bloodthirst, like an unending flood coming to drown them, like the world crashing down on them. Their hearts were stricken with utter disbelief at this display, some fresh, radiant stage nobody labor, just released a more savage aura than their masters. Who the hell is this guy? The more they looked into Joie Fan's eyes, the worse they felt, like facing a peak radiant stage expert. Joie Fan, you two-bit filthy labor would dare come to the elite area? Suicidal much? Chi Fong threatened, while shying 2 steps away, his cawing had the same tone and attitude. Yet even a blind man could tell that he was running away. Why else would he waste time prattling instead of outright fighting? Monologuing only cemented his cowardice. All bark and no bite. A true boss on his turf would not just stand by and attack at once. All this while Joie Fan had a creepy little smile on his face and shook his head in utter disappointment. All of them were at a standstill, with no one moving a muscle. What the hell? Whose turf is this again? Near-peak radiant stage experts are just standing by, instead of attacking a fresh radiant stage cultivator, yet the ones affected by the flood of bloodthirst found it totally appropriate. Their instincts were screaming at them that this guy was no pushover. Chi Fong reacted the worst of them all. He was sweating like a pig from the eerie vibe that he was getting, that not even Gui who could match. Gui whose power wasn't focused. Well, this guy unleashed it all upon them with impunity after fighting Gui who and meeting Joie Fan. Chi Fong came to learn the meaning of world apart. If Gui who was merely a wolf's pup, this guy was a demon having gone through thousands of killing fields. It's obvious now that this kid isn't the sect leader's aide for nothing. Chi Feng's heart was a mess. Joie Fan grinned as he watched them. You two made quite a scene a few days ago at the labor office, and even said it was the labor office's challenge. So what? Aren't you apologizing for it? Yu Juan screamed her moral high ground. Even while she shifted ever so slowly behind Chi Fong, Joie Fan nodded. True, I admit to everything. As for what comes next, it's not important. Ha ha ha. Since you proclaim that the laborers disrespect their betters, here I am disrespecting you all. By sex rules, when a low status fights another disciple of higher status, the capital punishment isn't pursued. So, are you coming at me all at once or one at a time? Joie Fan eyed the couple, holding the broom over his shoulder, yet those eyes drove fear into the two's hearts. Fresh, radiant stage cultivation aside, that thick bloodthirst was a blatant sign of what was about to happen. Joie Fan, there may be such a rule, but since it's outside of any competition, they can refuse your challenge. And since you've burst into the elite area, you've broken the rules. It is you who has some answering to do. Lu Xie shouted. Joie Fan raised an eyebrow and shook his head since he couldn't ascertain Joie Fan's capabilities. He tried shielding the couple. By saying this, he was actually alluding that Joie Fan would have to fight the entire elite area. Let's fight if you want, but can you take all of us? Would Joie Fan shake in his boots due to some scamps? Joie Fan put on his most condescending and demeaning smile as he taunted them. Stop barking and fight already. Aren't there more of you? Don't worry, I will take full responsibility, since this time it's the truth. Cocky prick. Their faces shook with annoyance, and this comment made them all see him as an enemy. Even the earlier infighting stopped. We don't give a flying damn about those two, but how dare you come to challenge the elite area? What do you take us for, dirt? Though he is a weird one. Chi Changlong and Bai Lian looked at Joie Fan with hostility. Lu Xie had a smug smile. The fool has dug his own grave by challenging everyone. No matter how freaky he is, no fresh, radiant stage cultivator can take on all elites. And when those foolish laborers hear of this, they'll never set foot here. Ha ha ha, 2 birds with 1 stone. Lu Xie cackled in his delusions as his eyes shone with an eerie green glow. The couple now had some good shoulders to lean on and shed all their fear whoosh. What came next were tens of people in fancy clothes surrounding the scene. One of them cupped his hands at them and said, "Seniors, this guy just broke the elite area's barrier. We were just about to capture him, but he moved too fast. Thank you, seniors, for holding him down." Breaking the sex barriers isn't how you challenge one seniors. Lu Xie grinned, having found Zhuo Fan's weakness. "Even if we kill you now, the sect leader can't touch us." Zhuo Fan saw through him and laughed. "True, if you can kill me, that is." "Ha ha ha, not me, but us." Lu Xie took it upon himself to share this responsibility with everyone present. On one hand, he'd finish the job Master had for him, to threaten the sect leader, and on the other hand, he'd get away scot-free. Don't just stand there, attack! Capture him dead or alive. The oblivious newcomers obeyed without second-guessing his motivations, or the fact that he was using them. What good would come from shedding sect, leaders, aides, blood, anyway? Lu Xie knew it all too well and let others do the dirty work. Zhuo Fan snorted and his broom shifted. "I said I've come to challenge the elite area, so all of you come at once. Sending some nobodies won't even make me break a sweat." Whoosh! A mere sweep of the broom, covered in a red glow of course, had the space whistling. Then came the bang. The dozens of Radiant Stage experts felt as if something slammed in their chests and coughed blood as they got flung into the air. They soon made intimate contact with the pavement. Landing out cold, it happened so fast they couldn't even figure out how they got beaten. SSS. The main six gasped in shock at Zhuo Fan's outrageous show of strength. Dozens of Radiant Stage experts defeated in one blow? No way. How is he just a fresh Radiant Stage cultivator? The couple started shivering all over, incredulous that the worthless labor office would hide such a monster. Their knees softened, and they slumped to the ground. Zhuo Fan eyed the two with a creepy smile. "You came into my turf to harm and kill my fellow disciples. Today I will make you pay by taking your worthless heads with me." Zhuo Fan shot for the two, his overwhelming aura stopping them from even taking a stand, like deers in the headlights. Their minds blanked, forgetting they had a good pair of legs under them to run with weight. They're elites like us. You can't harm them. Qi Changlong's sense of duty kicked in as he scrounged up the courage to face Zhuo Fan, and struck by sending a yellow glow from his palms. It had the hardness of a rock and the power of the earth, and Zhuo Fan handled it with a broom sweep, crushing the glow and hitting Qi Changlong in the chest. Qi Changlong coughed up blood and was ashen. Chapter 590, Kill. Chapter 590, Kill. Whoosh! Hundreds of ribbons came at Zhuo Fan, and he replied with another sweep as he went for his original target. He didn't even spare the attacker a glance. His sweep sent a suction force that got all the ribbons trapped in a quagmire. Unable to escape in that instant, his broom was covered in ribbons. Zhuo Fan flicked it and sent a powerful shockwave through them back at Bai Lian, sending her flying like Qi Changlong before her. She coughed up blood as well, and pale Zhuo Fan twisted his wrist, and the ribbons broke apart as he sped towards his quarry. Not once did the attack even make him pause. Bai Lian was overwhelmed by how useless she felt. The elite area hailed her as one of the strong ones, but reality showed there would always be someone out there stronger than her. How is he so freaking strong? None of US can match him. Lu Xie was dumbstruck. This labor is perhaps too monstrous. The lucky couple shuddered as they shirked backwards while pleading, "Senior brother Lu Xie, WW, what do we do?" Don't panic. I'll use poison to stop him while you run." Lu Xie was shocked as well, but was confident in his poison. Art's poison was a vile path to tread on, but not without its perks. It excelled in infecting one's core. You might have a huge yuan qi and a tough body, but poison will destroy you anyway. Lu Xie shouted, "Poison dragon!" Who? A green wind shifted into a dragon as it went for Zhuo Fan. The revolting stench coming from it would send anyone's mind out of commission. Qi Feng was overjoyed as he took Yu Juan and ran away. Lu Xie grinned. "Hey, let's see you fight something you can't touch, freak. Anyone who has ever touched it has died. Even if you can handle it, it'll at least buy them some time." Crack! With a loud sound, Zhuo Fan smashed the dragon with another broom swing. It didn't slow Zhuo Fan down at all, as black energy covered his body like a true demon. The poison got sucked into the blackness, and the attack was neutralized in an instant. Lu Xia was tongue-tied as his prized art was rendered worthless. Crud! This freak is invincible in every way. Be a good dog and scram! Zhuo Fan got in his face and swept him out of the way. He did exactly what everyone else had done so far, coughed up blood and turned pale, though his eyes were filled with shock as he muttered, how? Woo! A heavy wind pushed Qi Feng from behind, like death had latched onto him. He saw Zhuo Fan right behind him. Bearing that creepy smile which froze his blood, he forced himself to act and pointed with 2 fingers. A huge sea of fire shot for Zhuo Fan, and Yujuan helped by adding wind to the mix. Although against Zhuo Fan, they might as well not even try. Zhuo Fan didn't even need martial arts to deal with them. A mere sweep is all it took to snuff the flames. The sweep's shockwaves slammed into the couple's chest till they coughed up blood again, and again their meridians burned from the pain. Incapable of using Yuan Qi ever again, Zhuo Fan made sure of that crack. Zhuo Fan's charge stopped at last, right in front of them, bearing over them with a snicker, a god mocking these insignificant ants to the 2. Zhuo Fan looked like a demon made of flesh. So many experts tried to stop this monster, but all failed. Qi Changlong by Lian Lu Xia, Qi Feng and Yujuan attacked at the same time, yet didn't even faze him. Zhuo Fan's power was beyond what their limited psyche could think of in just a blink. All of the elites were lying down defeated. From shock and unbridled power, it was like they were fighting an elder or a venerable. Right? Sect leader entrusted him with elite labor office. That's a duty reserved for elders and venerables. That proves he is no mere disciple. And we just kicked the hornet's nest by messing with him. He's got an elder's power, yet is still a disciple. Sect leader has really done it this time. Qi Feng understood it all at death's door and started crying. Yujuan was too terrified to make a peep and only shook. Zhuo Fan grinned. What was it that you said in the labor office? That laborers took advantage of you and challenged you? Ha ha ha. Well, here I am challenging you as well. Satisfied? Pleased? Content? Bro, we're sorry. Qi Feng bawled like a baby. Bro, you are at the bottom, a laborer, yet bear outrageous power. With the sex rule, you can kill and challenge anyone and nothing will happen to you. That's totally cheating. Everyone else echoed his grief with a nod, hiding himself in the labor office with that strength. How many have died at his hands till now? Zhuo Fan shook his head. Ha ha ha. How is that unfair when you've got mountains behind you? Elders and venerables. You think I don't have anything better to do than to dupe you and to make so many enemies? Yeah, Steward Zhuo is a new disciple and alone, so why would you need to make enemies? Let me go, and second elder, Grandpa will owe you. Catching the hint in Zhuo Fan's words, Qi Feng showed off his status. Yujuan did the same. My grandpa, 7th elder, will owe you as well and will leave you alone. We're only doing what we're told. Please let us go. The 2 begged, despite Zhuo Fan's twisted smile. You should have realized this from the start. Now it's too late for amends. Why? The 2 asked. Zhuo Fan said, a killer must pay with the same coin. You came to labor office to kill and harm my people. What will happen to my name if I return to them empty-handed? You're doing it for those rotten laborers? Offending our grandpas just for that? Qi Feng cried, threatening again. Zhuo Fan, are you going to have elders hunt you down for a bunch of lowlives? Zhuo Fan raised a taunting eyebrow. Threatening me, is it? Ha ha ha. Yes, those lowlifes are not worth a dime, but my reputation is worth mountains. Besides, you guys stole something from me, and it's about time you give it back. What? Yujuan stammered. Zhuo Fan grinned. Dignity and foundation. You brats used the time I was gone to rob my laborers of their dignity, of their foundation. Without that, labor office will never stand tall in the sect. See, I have no choice. Now you can pass on with peace of mind. Zhuo Fan stepped on Qi Feng's neck, Splattering blood everywhere, Chi Feng's eyes bulged out in shock from Zhuo Fan's cruelty, or maybe stunned that there was someone in the demon scheming sect going as far as to kill him despite knowing about his grandpa. Yu Juan shrieked. Next to Chi Feng's head, Zhuo Fan sent her an annoyed glance. Noisy. He repeated the act with her this time, and the shriek was cut short. All that was left was the horrified look in her eyes. Chapter 591, Killer Feast. Chapter 591, Killer Feast. The others were overwhelmed by the brutality besides Chi Feng and Yu Juan being elites. They were grandchildren of elders first and foremost. Not even sect leader could touch them. Yet an anomaly appeared and killed them right in front of their eyes. Is he not afraid of making the elders go crazy? The three looked at Zhuo Fan with fear. He's insane, a madman uncaring of anything. They all felt danger from how easily the two were murdered. Fearing they would be next on this lunatic's bucket list, Zhuo Fan had no time to mind the extras, taking the rolling heads and stuffing them in his thunder ring with a content look. He took off what he left behind was mockery. And you call this the elite area? The trio hanged their heads in shame, burning humiliation. And nobody just taunted the entire elite area and got their asses handed to them for the first time in the history of demon scheming sect. Yet what was truly humiliating was that they, the peak of demon scheming sect's talents, were unable to take even a single hit. These elites were lower than even a labor. Then again, that was no ordinary labor. But that was not what the world would remember. All they'd ever say was how the elites were nothing. Lucia, do you still want to fight? Chi Changlong asked from a crater. Somewhere, little Marshall Brothers' face twitched. Looking at the mess of the unconscious elites, and his heart sank, Chi Changlong shook his head. What's the point, right? Even if you become the best elite, it's just an empty title now. No, I will fight. I will have this title even if it's useless. It involves becoming the sect leader's successor. Lu Xie's eyes steeled. Chi Changlong shook his head. Bai Lian looked at the sky. Who is he? Is he really just a laborer? Ha, don't be silly. The labor office gave us only one high venerable and is under the sect and ancestors' protection. How can it just give us another disciple even more monstrous? Lu Xie mocked. Bai Lian, you disdain the inner sex politics and hole yourself in the elite area to train. So you don't know what has been going on. Sect leader brought this brat from the outside. He established the elite labor office and took away the inner sex foundation. Your two grandfathers are on his side as well. And now the two sides are at war over the elite spots. Chi Feng and Yu Juan went and made a mess at the labor office at Venerable Shi's orders. This kid wasn't there at the time, and the elders and venerables were in a meeting. That's why it worked. They thought that the kid was admitting defeat by announcing a banquet. But look at us now. You call this an apology? It's a killer feast. The labor office is out for blood. Lu Xie sighed. I wanted to notify the master about this, but that brat hit me so hard I can't even move. Bai Lian and Chi Changlong were stunned. Their two grandpas were on the kid's side, yet he was still so vicious to them. Then again, the guy didn't know them. Leaving them alive was already mercy enough that cooled their jets. Bai Lian even felt safer knowing she was on that freak's side. Bringing him into the elite area and having him join the coming double dragon gathering would raise their hopes of coming out alive. A must-have godly teammate. Meanwhile, Zhuo Fan went to the apology banquet where all the guests were seated, be it invited or uninvited ones. All were bloody their why one to ask. To watch the show, Venerable Chi and Bai sat along with the labor office's oldies in a brooding silence. This had got to be the most humiliating situation. Even in their lives, the labors weren't looking any better either. Since plenty of them were outer and inner disciples, they'd now come to regret their decision after being forced to endure such humiliation in contrast. The audience was eager and thrilled to see this banquet blown sky high and to laugh at their misfortune. Who the hell told you to leave? And for what a few baubles. Now look at you, no self-respect or dignity to speak of. Ha ha ha. As for the main guests of today's show, second and seventh elders, oblivious to their kin's gruesome demise, were smug to high heavens. Sitting there all cocky next to them were the elite's guidance venerables, 3 fiends of hell, followed by Gue, whose group of 4. It had all started with them, and they were now here to make a public apology. That was the reason for staying so close. Though their savage looks and stern faces seemed to say otherwise, 2nd and 7th elders got smugger the more they saw their bitterness. They were aiming for an explosive reaction, or how else could they finish them off? As for those inner sect oldies, they looked on with cold attitudes, waiting for the smoking gun. The stage was set, the curtain raised, ready to drop it on Labor Office for good. Venerable Chi, Venerable Bai, we've been waiting for a while now. Let's start. 2nd elder looked around with a smile. Venerable Bai dismissed him. Steward Jua has yet to come. Steward Jua and nobody labor? 7th elder mocked. Oh, how the elders and venerables of Labor Office have fallen, needing a disciple to tell them what to do. That explains this banquet. Ha ha ha. The inner sex oldies joined him in laughter, despising and jeering the Labor Office's people now that the Labor Office had lost its dignity. Its people were tasting the humiliation as well, making even inner disciples disdain them. They would have slapped them dead at any transgression before. Well, now they had to stew in anger from having even these brats mock them. The humiliation was so heavy, they even came to regret defecting. Rotten Juefan, you've just lost all our dignity in one night. The Labor Office's oldies cried injustice and cursed Juefan. Venerable Chi was boiling with rage, yet said, Steward Jua established the elite Labor Office and sect leader appointed him as the head of this establishment. We must all obey him. The feast cannot start without him. As an apology banquet, he should cater to our needs and wants. Yet a mere labor has set up this banquet and still makes us wait for him? He has no intent to make amends. We don't answer to Labor Office and don't have to follow your rules. If you still want to wait, that's your problem, but we are inner sect elders. Get the banquet started or we're leaving. 2nd elder slapped the table as the inner sects oldies chimed in. There's no point to such a fake apology banquet. Let's just leave. We'll report this to the sect leader as well for wasting our time. Venerable Chi and Bai shook their heads in defeat. Kuei Lang's group was getting angrier by the second. Only the 3 fiends of hell were trying to lighten the mood, with Fiend Yang recounting his revolutionary history and great deeds. People, if you find this boring, I shall recount our days in the Double Dragon Gathering while Steward Jua is away. In those days, 4 fiends of hell led the brave elites to the Double Dragon Gathering. Wait, hold, stop. We're not bored, not one bit. You don't have to enlighten us. Everyone cried before Fiend Yang got too much into it. Damn rotten Fiend Yang has brought up this story for 800 times already and still calls it some frickin' secret. There's no one more outrageous than him for sure. Fiend Yang sulked at their obvious refusal and drowned himself in wine. Fiend Gue and Fiend In chuckled. It was then that a disciple shouted, Steward Jua has arrived. Chapter 592, Apology Gift. Chapter 592, Apology Gift. All eyes turned towards the entrance of the valley. A thin figure skipped over, with a humble smile on his face as he lowered his head each time he met people. Sorry, I'm a little late, ha ha ha. 2nd and 7th elders' eyes shone with disdain. Is this the guy that has the elite Labor Office in his grip? He might have shown power in the inner sect competition, but he won't get anything done without a backbone. He must be shaking in his boots to resort to such a humiliating banquet. Every oldie of the inner sect, and even some of their disciples, mocked him, while the Labor Office side's faces were burning red hot from shame and remorse of being humiliated with this guy. Even so, they did find it strikingly odd how the ever-decisive and oh-so-wise Steward Jua had turned into a sap. Juefan sported the same warm smile all the way to the front table and bowed. Many apologies. I got delayed and ask for your forgiveness. Ha ha ha, it's all good. All that matters is that we're all here. Fiend Yang hated Juefan's wimpy attitude, but still mediated. One day elite Labor Office and inner sect shall be the pillars of demon scheming sect. We must put the past behind us. Sure we will. Second elder scoffed and sighed along with the seventh elder, and they were both grinning from ear to ear. Second elder began with a standard humiliation. Juafan, you've arranged this apology banquet, yet you're the one coming last. Do you call that being sincere? You better make it up to us, or you'll never hear the end of it. Aren't we all here? Why are you being so stubborn? Venerable Chi banged the table, while the two elders bore the same jeering smile. They're about to pop. It's best if you start the whole mess. Seventh elder jived. Venerable Chi, it is your side that has come up with the apology banquet for the wrongs you've done to us. So elite labor office better kowtow with sincerity for their mistakes. Do you have the right attitude? Why can't I feel an ounce of sincerity from you? We will not stand for this outrage and arrogance, and we will go to the sect leader with this. Why, you Venerable Chi gnashed his teeth, ready to come to blows. Juafan dismissed the tense mood. Now, Venerable Chi, please settle down. We're the ones in the wrong. Seventh elder is right. We need to be earnest in our apology. Please sit back down. Venerable Chi glared at him and wished to thrash the punk. Didn't you say it was their fault? Why is it that you are acting like it was our mistake? Those old coots were smug on having a good excuse, and now they are after everything. There had never been a case where a grand venerable was shamed by mere elders sighing. Venerable Chi slumped in his chair, while Kuei Lang's group were fuming mad at Juafan. Who'd have thought Steward Jua would end up being such a coward in front of the elders? Their faith in Juafan was crushed, with the laborers hanging their heads in shame. This is taking the camp by defeating the general, ha ha ha. The inner sect was laughing inside. Second elder nodded in appreciation, his grin so bright. Steward Jua, we can feel your sincerity, but the real offenders? Not to worry, they will definitely give the elders a sincere apology. Juafan caught on and turned to Kuei Lang's gang. Don't just stand there, apologize. The four were shaking with outrage. Second elder grinned and sighed. That's the pig-headedness I wanted to see. And he made sure to add more fuel to the fire. Is this how you apologize? Humph, you better knock that forehead and adulate us too. And maybe, just maybe, we'll buy it. Adulate your granny, you creep. Kuei Lang banged the table, but Juafan stopped him from rising. Juafan squinted. To be honest, it's all my fault. I should apologize. It is the whole purpose of this banquet. If elders wish for adulation, then that is what I shall offer. Steward Jua! Kuei Lang shouted. Juafan waved him off. The two elders pondered as smugness festered on their faces. Well, he is the top dog of the elite labor office. Getting him on his knees will crush the labor office. This was way better than making Kuei Lang's group blow out. Here we are racking our heads on how to make the punk submit. Yet he does it of his own free will. Brilliant. Serves you right for messing with fire. The two elders laughed and nodded. As long as you go all the way, sure. Now say that the labor office will never mess with the inner sect and elite area again, and we'll call it even. Sure, just don't regret it. There are many elders and venerables present. Juafan clapped back. The two elders nodded like winners. Of course, we are prideful elders who will never pick on laborers. I knew I could trust the elders' sincerity. Juafan switched tunes right then and there. His face took on a heavy look, like kowtowing was an ordeal. Kuei Lang's side knew he was trapped in this humiliating scene, but still shouted, Steward Jua, I'll do it for you. Sir is the head of the labor office. You can't lower yourself. What will it make of the rest of us? No, let me. Steward Jua saved me, and the least I can do is take Steward Jua's shame for myself. No, me. You've looked over Yuera for so long. Yuling, why is a woman fighting me over this? I'll do it. All of them were fighting to take Juafan's shame. The two elders were sullen, though, to find that Juafan was seen in such high regard after only managing elite labor office for a short amount of time. He could even make these proud talents fight over who was to take this burden. Inner sect lost against him in this regard. They only know how to kiss ass. This place must not survive any longer. The elders shouted, "Quiet, will you? This is Zhuo Fan's matter, and he must take responsibility for it. I will not rest until I see him banging his head 3 times." The others shook, and their hearts sank. They figured out these two were out to get Zhuo Fan by all means necessary. They couldn't care less for some disciples. Zhuo Fan shrugged. "See how much the elders care about me? Now don't fight any more, since I am the one to blame here." Zhuo Fan let a snicker slip out as he watched the audience before stopping on the elders with an apologetic smile. "Elders, I deeply regret my actions and ask for your forgiveness. To show my deep sincerity, I have prepared a gift, and then I shall kowtow. I never knew such a masochistic and spineless fool existed. Wasn't it our 2 brats who challenged the labor office? How did it turn out in our favor? But if he insists on a gift, we can't just let his sincerity go to waste. That would be bad manners." The elders snickered. Zhuo Fan's hand shone and revealed 5 boxes. 3 he gave to the fiends and bowed. "I hope this will help atone the harm that came to your disciples. We all know who's to blame here, so why must you debase yourself so much?" 3 fiends of hell shook their heads, and Fiend Yang spoke. "This gift is your promise to us, but we understand more than everyone. You don't have to apologize because you represent the entire elite labor office." "Ha ha ha, I shall bear that in mind." Zhuo Fan bowed ka. 3 fiends of hell looked at the glorious light spilling out from the boxes, taking in the thick spiritual energy, and their eyes bugged out in shock. Everyone else cried, "Ninth grade demonic treasures!" Chapter 593, both at once. Chapter 593, both at once. 9th grade demonic treasure. The 2 elders' eyes twitched with greed and hope. The dazzling light show coming from the boxes blinded them. They had heard how the elite labor office was filthy rich, but seeing was believing. This kid took out 3 9th grade demonic treasures, and by the looks of it, they are top quality. The fiends traced the baubles in their hands. Astounded, the elders' hearts skipped a beat, and they turned to Zhuo Fan's last 2 boxes. The brat can fake kowtowing if it means getting our hands on such priceless demonic treasures. It's all worth it. Zhuo Fan snorted inside and tapped the boxes. The 2 elders were dying to know what's inside those boxes by now. They just had to have those shiny and marvelous trinkets. Yet Zhuo Fan milked the suspense for all it's worth, until they couldn't even sit straight. Only then did he say, "Elders, I will ask you one last time. If I kowtow and apologize, will you leave this matter be? As elders of the sect, our word is gold. Now hurry up with the gifts." 2nd elder didn't do well with patience. 7th elder's eyes never left the boxes. His brain on the fritz, Zhuo Fan grinned and offered the boxes. "Ha ha ha. Then if you would please honor me, elders." Ka. The 2 were already eager to open them, but what they saw stopped them in their tracks. Everyone was curious too, while Zhuo Fan shed his humble smile to replace it with a more sinister expression to match the mood. What treasures could have them so lost for words? Fiend Yang asked. Peering over those boxes had him shocked as well. Now that baffled the audience even more. Just what divine items are those boxes carrying? Fiend Yang stammered. H-heads Chi Feng and Yujuan's heads. Say what? Everyone was floored. Everyone knew those 2 elites, yet here their heads were served in neat little boxes for their respective grandpas. Is he suicidal? They turned a stiff gaze towards Zhuo Fan, whose savagery was laid bare. He did it on purpose. He is a lunatic and psychotic to taunt the elders so much. And to think we took him for a wimp before, when in fact he has the biggest testicular fortitude of all. Well, elders, is my gift to your liking? Zhuo Fan drove it in, like he had done them a favor. Zhuo Fan! The elders howled like wraiths. Their eyes were bloodshot, and they exploded with power. The fancy decorations and gourmet food around them was pulverized Gue, whose side cried out as they were blown away. Venerable Bai and Qi rushed over to Zhuo Fan's side to shield him while giving him stunned looks. What's wrong with this kid? When he acts, he shakes the world. Just now they were thinking he was some poor sap. So puny they felt like beating him themselves, though that persona was shed in an instant when he slaughtered others' kin. No elder or venerable of the sect would resort to this madness, while he did it in passing. Just what is going on in that head of his? Everyone lost all contempt for Zhuo Fan, and their hearts were now filled with fear. He's deranged, the worst enemy to have. Now, don't tell me the elders find my gift short. Zhuo Fan scratched his nose as he smiled, after I poured my heart and soul into it. Even went to great lengths for the elders to be able to hug their grandchildren, or I'd have thrown those heads to the dogs. You! The elders roared, exploding with bloodthirst and desire for revenge. Fiend Yang intervened before things got more dangerous. Now hold on, we must first get to the bottom of it. He began. Zhuo Fan, tell me the truth, did you kill them? But they were in the elite area. Yep. What else did you think this apology banquet was for anyway? Zhuo Fan chuckled. I went to the elite area bright and early snatched a couple of heads, then rushed back here. That's why I had to apologize to you, venerables. Forgive me for making a scene in your area. But since you've forgiven me, all is good. The second reason was to apologize to the elders. Sorry, I wasted your kin, though I do hope you can look past this. Why you meant to apologize for this? Fiend Yang cried. Everyone was in shock. You mean to tell me Steward Zhuo ran late to the banquet because he was rampaging in the elite area? And he made it just in time to apologize, taunt. Freaking crazy. None could believe their ears that a labor would go so far. Zhuo Fan smiled at Fiend Yang. Ha ha, venerable, why ask when you know already? Didn't these brats cause a scene at the labor office? It was not our fault, so why would we apologize for it? I held this banquet for the sole reason to apologize to everyone. Haven't I been clear enough already? I'm embarrassed that I had to harm your disciples. But I thought you meant Taiying broke Yu Zhuan's hand. Fiend Yang was dumbfounded. Zhuo Fan snickered. Did I do that? I've personally come here to apologize. But since you said there's no need for it, the elite area matter is now closed. Don't tell me you're going back on your word. Not with so many elders and venerables around. The fiends' faces twitched, and they looked at each other with dumb looks, thinking how they had played right into his hand. This brat challenged their elite area and killed their wards, yet now they've accepted his apology with smiles on their faces and a few trinkets in their pockets. What about them? What apology did you have in mind for them? Fiend Yang grumbled at Kuei Lang's gang. Zhuo Fan lied on the spot. They're guilty of being weak. The only reason these brats could make a scene was because they weren't strong enough to stop them. But like I said, their fault is small, while I'm the true criminal here. Don't you listen? Cut the crap. Second elder blew a gasket. You had planned for this all along, mixing both of them to gloss over your actions. Do you think your ridiculous excuse is going to fly after murdering in broad daylight? I'll have your head for this. Oh, but you did promise that you'll let this slide with a few bumps on the floor. As if. I'll have you torn limb from limb for what you've done. Second elder roared, and the seventh elder growled as their power exploded. Venerable Bai and Qi were on guard. But Zhuo Fan merely shrugged. Couldn't be better. Now I don't have to kneel. Insidious rotten bastard, die. Second elder shot for him, with the seventh elder right behind him. The huge amount of power came at him in waves. Zhuo Fan squinted and put on a calculating smile. Venerable Qi and Bai interfered and pushed the two back, warning, You're forgetting your place, elders. Think about the consequence of breaking the sect's rule for attacking a disciple. Your granddaughter didn't die, so of course you don't care. Second elder glowered. Do you think you can defend the punk forever? Clap. Zhuo Fan gave a slow clap as he stepped forward from behind the venerables with his trademark evil smile. Well put. I feel for the elders' love for their grandchildren. Why don't I give you two a shot? As per sect's rule, a lower status person can attack a higher status person without fearing the consequences. I killed your grandchildren within the purview of the sex regulations. Now it's your turn to be challenged. So if you manage to tear me limb from limb afterwards, no one will get to say a thing." The two were stumped, and the audience was in shock. A disciple challenging an elder? That has never happened before. No one in their right mind was that suicidal Venerable Bai and Qi were floored by Zhuo Fan's decision deal. The two elders agreed before anyone else could interfere, Zhuo Fan snickered. Then both at once. Chapter 594, 2 against 1. Chapter 594, 2 against 1. Have you lost it? Everyone watched Zhuo Fan in shock. The damn punk doesn't give a rat's ass about anything, doing and saying whatever he wants. Those right, there are ethereal stage experts, while you're just a fresh, radiant stage labor. Is death that enticing? Zhuo Fan, Venerable Bai started, but Zhuo Fan chuckled. These poor elders just lost their kin. The least I can do is get their hopes up. Venerable Bai sighed. You're not giving them hope, but your life. It's fine. Besides, everyone here can attest to my integrity and kindness. It all comes down to having what it takes to take it. Zhuo Fan grinned. I just love getting these pesky coots, who always keep butting in my affairs, hopes up, then crushing them, ha ha ha. No matter how much Venerable Bai and Qi were against it, there was no point crying over spilled milk. Since he was so cocky in his skills, why not just let them sort it out themselves? The fiends were still annoyed that Zhuo Fan went over them and challenged the elite area. It was a wonderful contradiction with their fondness for talent, as they hoped he'd grow up to his potential. However, the sex rule left them hopeless once the challenge was made. None could interfere in this battle. All watched on with eager looks. In one corner were two very influential elders. In the second and third layer of ethereal stage that could pop a radiant stage cultivator with a snap of their fingers, the challenger was the ineffable founder of the elite labor office, Steward Zhuo. He had them wondering what act he was playing this time from the moment he threw the heads at the elders. Some astute oldies noticed he was taunting the two to this exact moment, but what good would getting them berserk do? Which made this fight all the more interesting. He, against a pipsqueak, 2 is overkill. Second elder spat. Seventh elder, may I take revenge for your granddaughter? Having you join in will give him too much credit. Seventh elder was totally against this idea, but he still nodded. Fine, just make it quick. Obviously. Second elder saw Qi Feng's head once more and roared, Feng'er, I will have your revenge. Second elder flicked his hand and unleashed a terrible soul when the audience tensed. That's an ethereal stage expert's soul attack which no Yuan Qi or body could withstand. Kuei Lang's group knew what Zhuo Fan could do, but even that fell short against a soul attack of this magnitude. Then again, Zhuo Fan didn't care. He just gave a dismissive wave like swatting a fly, and the attack was no more. Second elder was dumbfounded. How the hell? The audience even more so. Since when could a fresh radiant stage cultivator just shirk off a high and mighty ethereal stage expert soul attack? Unless he has a soul form too. That's the only explanation he's still alive. But that's even more impossible. He just reached the radiant stage. Everyone peered at Zhuo Fan to find a secret. The two elders noticed Zhuo Fan's creepy smile, and their hearts jumped. Seventh elder, this kid's strange. While I attack again, you take his head. Second elder sent. Seventh elder nodded as second elder shot for Zhuo Fan with an even bigger soul pressure. New novels chapters are published and freewebble. CM. Common sense dictated a radiant stage cultivator would have died by now from having their soul crushed, yet Zhuo Fan took it like a champ. He just stood there, as if second elder's soul pressure was but a cooling spring breeze. Second elder turned serious as he waved his hands, and a fire sea ignited around Zhuo Fan. Inferno! Venerable Bai cried. Second elder's soul is the fire element, and that is soul fire. Nothing physical can affect it. The only way to withstand it is with a strong soul. What do we do? Isn't Steward Zhuo just a radiant stage cultivator? How can he withstand a soul fire? Yu Ling panicked. Kuei Lang's side was tense, just as a cool voice came from within the raging fire. Divine Eye of the Void's fourth stage, Space Crusher. Hum. The shockwave ensued, clearing up 100-meter sphere around him with a bang. Everything crushed to nothing. The soul fire stood no chance in this absolute domain. Second Elder faltered 2 steps, shocked and blood coming out of his mouth. The appearance of Space Crusher annihilated his soul fire and in turn gave his soul a deep scar, yet he could hardly believe a punk was capable of such a feat. How did he? The rest were too out of it to react. A fresh, radiant stage cultivator just wounded an ethereal stage expert. That's unheard of. They gulped as they watched the smug Zhuo Fan within the fire. He's a monster with total confidence in dealing with the elders. That means the challenge was made on purpose to target them. He's after. Everyone shivered. The labor office's steward didn't do it to get back at 2 disciples, but to get the elders' heads. SS. With a gasp, the audience realized the sheer scope of his ploy. Everything had been done to bait them, including this so-called apology banquet. To kill the elders in plain sight, they saw Zhuo Fan's right eye glowing with 4 golden halos and shook since they were elders. Not any challenge would be accepted on the spot. These 2 were victims of circumstances, forced into a corner without realizing that gave Zhuo Fan the moral high ground in dispatching them for all to see. All held Zhuo Fan in fear and respect. Not just disciples, but elders and venerables. As well, the kid's mind was more twisted than the oldies. Grinning from ear to ear, Zhuo Fan only cared about one thing, killing. His right eye shined golden once more. Divine Eye of the Void's first stage, Shift. He bam-fed right in front of his quarry and unleashed a palm attack with a draconic roar. The palm felt like a dragon claw of outstanding might clawing its second elder's chest. His attempt at using his soul fire to defend proved feeble as the sheer pressure left him gasping. How am I feeling soul pressure? Why you formed your soul? Second elder's heart cried out in disbelief. Just a radiant stage laborer, and yet had a soul form like an ethereal stage expert. And to make it worse, the soul form was even stronger, putting pressure on his own. Chapter 595, No One's Going Anywhere. Chapter 595, No One's Going Anywhere. 7th grade demonic treasure, Soul Eater. Second Elder figured out he was getting the short straw when it came to using his soul to attack, which rendered the ethereal stage's defining ability useless, left with no choice. He'd fight the old-fashioned way. There was no way his larger Yuan Qi, thanks to his ethereal stage cultivation and the help of the 7th grade demonic treasure, couldn't chop the punk up. Fighting with fists against a radiant stage cultivator was utterly ridiculous for an ethereal stage expert. However, everyone here knew he was forced by circumstances, but if there was one thing Zhuo Fan prided himself on, it was his body, coupled with his sturdy Qilin arm that no tool could scratch. That 7th grade toy was nothing but a toothpick grinning from ear to ear. Zhuo Fan said, Second Elder, allow me to send you off to your grandson. Hi, ghostly dragon claw. Roar. The draconic roar added to the Qilin's glowing arm, amplifying the strike suddenly. Dozens of wind blades came for Zhuo Fan's back. The soul vibe from them spoke volumes. The attacker was an ethereal stage expert, as well, glancing beyond the wind blades at 7th Elder. Zhuo Fan smirked, uncaring as his claw continued clang. The claw and sword clashed, letting out sparks, followed by the sound of the sword cracking with a bang. The 7th grade demonic treasure broke like a twig under Zhuo Fan's attack, and as it reflected in 2nd Elder's horrified eyes, it struck home. A simple groan came as blood and gore spurted from smashing 2nd Elder into a pulp. The area reeked of blood within seconds, staining the ground and sending a shiver down the audience's spine. It was one thing to guess Zhuo Fan's master plan, and another to see it executed with such ease. The brat went and frickin' done it. Whoosh! A blaze came from the pile of red goo, flying as fast as it could from here, having cooled down. 2nd Elder knew he'd been duped. Everything Zhuo Fan did was a meticulous effort to take their lives. It hadn't even been 5 exchanges, and he was already down 1 body. He was filled with regret now for his raging temper. It only spoke volumes of how insidious and cunning the kid was. Now his only chance was to get the hell out of here, and under Venerable Shi's wing one day he would have his revenge. He noticed Zhuo Fan's cold eye behind, his intent to chase, though the wind blades had to be addressed first. He'll have to choose between getting wounded and chasing me or defending himself. Second Elder's soul regained his confidence, finding the time to monologue. "You haven't seen the last of me, brat!" "Oh, but I have." Zhuo Fan smirked and fixed his eyes on that red flicker flying away as his right eye shone golden. Divine Eye of the Void, 2nd stage, Void Annihilation. Whoosh! Second Elder was struck by something invisible, piercing his soul and tearing him apart from the inside. He was gone before he could even announce the agony. He was in the red flicker, was gone from this world. Second Elder's dead. Thanks to having formed his soul, Void Annihilation affected the metaphysic as well. Soul included Zhuo Fan's pearly white smirk was chilling to the core rip. The sounds came from his surroundings as the wind blades found their target. They tore his clothes and were just a hair's breadth from striking his body, with Second Elder taking his focus. He had no time to spare the attacks any attention before they were upon him. Second Elder's death came as a great surprise for 7th Elder. Of joy, he used this tactic to attack while the kid was busy with Second Elder, so there'd be no way to cope with 2 sides coming at once. Yet the brat was so vicious, he forwent the sneak attack and went to deal with Second Elder for good, though, in this way, left himself open for the soul wind blades. No matter how tough he was, it was bound to hurt him good. Second Elder. Die knowing you helped me get revenge for you. A bit too soon to celebrate, however, since Zhuo Fan was still alive. He wasn't about to let the guy have his way, or the great steward would be ridiculed to no end. Zhuo Fan spoke. Blood blade. Hum. The sharp wind blades and their sharp ringing stabbed him with pain, but then a red light came from his body and crushed the wind blades before they touched him, then sped straight for 7th Elder with impunity. What the hell is that? The old man was startled by it and sent another wind blade. Yet it just kept coming. It entered his body and made him shiver as blood leaked from his mouth. This isn't a soul form, just a radiant stage soul attack. He never knew such an insidious soul attack existed, so strong it matched his soul form. What kind of monster is this kid? 7th Elder was racked with fear. Zhuo Fan was an abomination, shrouded in a thick fog of mystery. Everything he got from Zhuo Fan till now only scratched the surface. And he bet it was all bait to lure the fools and conceited idiots. 7th Elder shook at the sight of Zhuo Fan, and ran. 2nd Elder got done in like nothing, even in the 3rd layer of the ethereal stage. He stood no chance only in the 2nd layer without any preamble. 7th Elder threw away his dignity and bolted. All to save his life. It always paid to live and die another day. He understood this saying the best, especially now. Caring about nothing but fleeing, didn't he just see 2nd Elder monologuing in his flight, only to get cut short? Respect mattered, sure, but even that paled in favor of keeping one's poor little life. So he ran, though Zhuo Fan was even faster. Whoosh! Zhuo Fan was barring him in a flash, thanks to a nifty little golden halo in his eye. Ha ha ha! 7th Elder, aren't we fighting? Why are you running away? Zhuo Fan grinned and struck his chest. 7th Elder put up a tough front. Zhuo Fan, you dare kill an inner sect elder? I got the sect's rule on my side. Killing you is nothing, so take it like a man. Besides, I already killed one, so what's one more? Zhuo Fan sent another ghostly dragon claw to splatter him on the ground. 7th Elder learned from 2nd Elder's misfortune, and knew resistance was futile, so he abandoned his vessel as the attack came. He used his meat suit as a shield to fly away unharmed in soul form. Chapter 596, Pep Talk. Chapter 596, Pep Talk. Bam! While 7th Elder was fleeing, he smacked into something out of the blue. It was a bloody infant, though the creepy aura and the faded body made him shiver. What the hell is this? 7th Elder sent dozens of blue wind blades in response. A fierce whirlwind formed. one that could rip a soul apart, and it shot for the blood infant's. Only reaction was contempt, hi hi hi. With a burst of creepy laughter, Blood Infant glared back at the incoming attack hum. A sharp blood ripple shot forth and crushed the wind blades like they were nothing. Seventh Elder's blue soul shook. This is the thing that helped Zhuo Fan last time. But what is this thing? How precious must it be to unleash soul attacks? The kid has many tricks up his sleeve. Seventh Elder got nowhere in figuring it out as the Blood Infant charged for him. Blood Infant was as fast as lightning. Swallowing him under the shocked eyes of everyone, he scrambled around Blood Infant's stomach to get out. But each time he made the skin bulge, it would just return to normal. Blood Infant was a spirit of this world and capable of unimaginable things. Seventh Elder was now in it, and even as a soul he had no way out. It was just like a soul prison. The audience was freaked out. Some of these demonic cultivators reared their own demonic creatures. But they were all physical beings and unable to harm one's soul. But Zhuo Fan's Blood Infant showed them how mystical demonic creatures could be, and what gave him confidence. It was like having an able partner all the time. With both him and the demonic creature unleashing deadly attacks, this display earned everyone's envy. Just how many gadgets is this guy hiding? How is it he keeps taking out greater and greater things? With a freak like him, the only thing he'd come with is freak demonic creatures. Whoosh! Blood Infant flew back to Zhuo Fan, and like a good hunting dog, it spat out Seventh Elder soul before going into Zhuo Fan. Zhuo Fan grabbed the blue glow and snickered. Run. Run as fast as you can. That's why I let my demonic creature out earlier, to intercept you. So, did you get far even after ditching your body? Steward Zhuo, please let me go. I will never come at you again. Ha ha ha, I'm sure you won't. Seventh Elder was at his mercy, and he could do nothing but beg. Though not like it worked on Zhuo Fan at the kid's killer smile, Seventh Elder resorted to threats. Do this, and you'll make an enemy of the inner sect. Enemy? Humph, you're sadly mistaken. It's you who made an enemy of me. He paraded the soul before the labor office's people. This is our turf, and this old coot is threatening me with that? Tell me, are we pushovers? No, no, no. Venerable Qi and Bai shouted. Taken by the mood as all the resentment dripped off them, the entire labor office roared with one purpose, one mind. This was their steward, Steward Zhuo of the labor office, a disciple with more testicular fortitude than anyone, killing elders and anyone in his path. This is a hero to follow. The oldies from the inner sect alternated from blue and green, about to flip against Zhuo Fan. But the sight of the entire labor office roaring had them threatened. Zhuo Fan's victory brought back the dignity and glory the labor office lost. Attacking now when morale was high was suicide, to say nothing of the devious Zhuo Fan playing by the rules, or more like making sure the rules were on his side. All they could do was walk away in silence, engulfed in the flood of shouts coming from the labor office. The outer and inner disciples were stumped. The labor office was like a dead fish just now. Yet Steward Zhuo injected them with courage, with just one when they watched Zhuo Fan in awe at how he flounced Seventh Elder's soul around. A mocking smile on his lips. It was one image they wouldn't soon forget. Zhuo Fan faced the soul again. Seventh Elder, what do you think? Is the inner sect reliable? Ha ha ha, all of us are selfish. The labor office, now, has enough people to stand up to you all. None of them would stand up to fight for you either. Do you know why? They fear me. Today I challenged you and killed you, and tomorrow I will go for them. I am just a laborer, and the rules are on my side. Tell me something. Do you think they'll accept my challenge? Zhuo Fan's smile turned sinister. Ha ha ha. You too were fated to die to make a statement. Now those fools won't be so jumpy. Inner Sect Elder is just an empty title. It won't protect you at all. Once it loses its worth, you'll be thrown away. The blue wisp shuddered and fell in abject despair. Inner Sect Elders were respected, but that applied only when alive. They lost everything the instant they died. At the end of it all, the only one reliable was yourself, unable to understand this simple truth. These two were were sent to the slaughter. Not that anyone foresaw this apology banquet would turn bloody or that a fresh, radiant stage labor would kill them like Lamb's demon transformation art. At the downcast blue wisp, Zhuo Fan knew Seventh Elder had lost all motivation. Zhuo Fan enveloped the wisp in black energy and refined him. It was then the prismatic heaven dragon in his mind opened its dazzling eyes by forming his soul. Zhuo Fan could use demon transformation art on souls. To increase his own, it would speed up his cultivation a lot, easing a breath. Zhuo Fan watched his empty palm and revealed a grin. He turned to the labor office's people. Are you still down now? They all shook their heads, bearing excitement on their faces. Ha ha ha, you're on my side. Your loss is my loss, and I am one who will get back at them for it. Zhuo Fan nodded. The people looked at Zhuo Fan with starry eyes, however. Zhuo Fan changed tunes. You're weak. You just got challenged once, and look at you, crying all over like children. I've decided that all laborers shall do what a laborer does, sweep and clean. Don't think about running, not even the ones from the elite labor office. For God's sake, you got too cocky after just a few days and forgot who you really are. The disciples were startled, but their smiles still remained venerable. Bai's group chuckled. An expert should know when to retreat, lose and win. They wouldn't achieve anything losing their heart after one setback, especially now when some of them wanted to leave the labor office. It had to be removed and not let it fester. Zhuo Fan had them learn humility and determination, to not break in the face of adversity. Though it only worked after Zhuo Fan's pep talk, no one would have listened to him before his win. Not even the elite labor office. The venerables saw the inner and outer disciples watching the thrilled laborers and smiled. Zhuo Fan has great charm and is meant to do great things. He will become the next sect leader. Chapter 597. Worth. Chapter 597. Worth. What are you all staring at? You saw them ask for it, even after I went to such lengths to apologize. I even had their well-being in mind when I challenged them to not get the sex punishment. How is it my fault they were too weak and died off? I've done it by the book and in an open manner, so glare elsewhere. Zhuo Fan noticed the stink eyes he got from the intersex oldies and shouted, Keep this up and I'll challenge you. Whoosh! The threat worked like a charm, and all those malevolent glares lost their target. They all saw what Zhuo Fan could do. And from the looks of it, he had it easy just now. Zhuo Fan didn't even get to take his soul out to play. Giving them no way of guessing his limits, the unknown held the greatest fear, especially when a soul showed its true power when it came out. So no one was about to mess with a freak that left two elders as nothing but smears on the ground, though it didn't save them from resentment so damn strong. Yet only a freak in labor is outrageous. One just had to look at him the wrong way and he'd smash them dead. It was the least this law-abiding disciple could do to uphold the rules. Hey, that rule about challenging a superior holding no consequence for both parties shouldn't be left gathering dust. There'll be tough times ahead of us. These oldies' conflicts were all handled within reason. Now, this freak showed up, and he was just a mere disciple whom no one wanted to do anything with. It was a guillotine hanging over them. Waiting to drop, they sighed. It was the inner sex turn now to be humiliated, to be pissed on, and no way to be able to deal with it. The labor office looked at them with scorn, and even the outer and inner disciples had contempt. The labor office is still the best by the looks of it. The inner sect is off its game. Whoosh! Zhuo Fan landed, and Kuei Lang's group came over with glee. Steward Zhuo, you're so strong. You're truly the best disciple in the sect to even swat ethereal stage experts like flies. Kuei Lang gave a thumbs up. The others bobbed their heads. Zhuo Fan dissed them with a smile. First, cut the ass-kissing. I saw your long faces before. Did you actually think I'd apologize for their fault? Ugh. They all sheepishly scratched their heads. Ha ha ha. Steward Zhuo, since you didn't tell us, you'd have let it slip. Zhuo Fan cut Kuei Lang off. This great scheme of mine was all psychological. To make those two take the bait, I had to unbalance them. It worked to allow challenging and weakening them easier. Consumed by anger, I bet they didn't even give half of what they could do. You think it's that easy to kill an elder once his soul is out? Playing mind games is the best solution. The swift shift from glee to anger to grief did them in. Thanks to you, I had them reach the highlight of their happiness, setting the stage for me to come in and smack them down to earth and fall for my ploy. Demons come from the heart. Always remember this. Yes. The four-bowed Gué, who was still frowning behind them. Steward Joie, you should know why I've come to the labor office. Where am I to begin training my heart? It was first Chi-Feng that told me I was weak because of my weak heart. Then you come and tell me one grows weaker as their heart's in chaos. How then? I'll tell you here and now. The heart isn't trained, but tempered. Zhuo Fan's tone was serious. Zhuo Fan saw his doubt. The heart isn't cultivation, using spiritual energy to train your soul and body. All its levels come from insight and experiences. Without experience, there will be only ignorance and no way to come to gain insight into the world. That is the meaning of enlightenment. The world is filled with people going through a wide range of experiences, which makes everyone's hearts different. Does that mean I'll never be able to train it? Gué, who didn't want to give up. Zhuo Fan pondered. I'll be honest with you. I never cared much for you, so never mention this little secret. You are the product of your environment. The same applies to your heart. Following wise people will give you insight, but how much depends on you. You should stick closer to Elder Yuan instead. What could a bone-tempering old coot possibly do? Gué, who was stumped. Zhuo Fan's finger moved left and right. Ignorant fool. Elder Yuan is a man with a vast wealth of experiences. He is wise and thoughtful. Here I am going to him many times to debate the world's meanings, and you're just taking him for granted. Learn to appreciate things. Besides, do you really take him at face value? Humph! The only reason I'm kind enough to explain his worth is that you're on our side and did so much for the labor office. Gué, who tried to blink the confusion away without avail. The one thing he did get the old man is more than he seems for even such a great talent to speak of him like that. Senior brother Gué, who the old guy is quite nice. Go to him. Kuei Lang spoke. Gué, who asked, how do you know? Because nothing he says makes sense to me. Gué, whose face fell. That makes him more of a wise guy than a wise man. How is that logical? Though Kuei Lang made him exclaim, though Steward Joie can understand it. That's why I think we're far from the level of these two. Gué, who gave a solemn nod master, told him Zhuo Fan's heart was in high places, and since Elder Yuan came at his recommendation, while Kuei Lang bearing witness, the old guy ought to have some use. He might have something that can help me with my heart problem. Gué, who ran for the labor office. Steward Joie, and everyone, see you later. The others chuckled, and Zhuo Fan laughed. This guy's so simple, quite like elderly. I knew ages ago he wasn't cut out to be a spy. Yet I still watched him all this time. I still have a long way to go to reach the fourth stage of human nature, or I'd have seen through his worth at a glance. I'll need to get more experience under me. Ha ha ha. Don't be modest. More experience. Any more, and you'll become a demon. Fiend Yang laughed, coming over with the other fiends. Gone was his grumbling, hearing Zhuo Fan messed up the elite area and was now beaming with joy. Sonny, you're a tough one. Facing two elders alone and still killing them. Becoming an elite and joining the Double Dragon Gathering will definitely get us among the middle 3 sections. Your feats will become legends. Fiend Yang patted his shoulder, though Zhuo Fan's face was cold. Sorry, I don't do well with being elite. How can Fiend Yang was stumped. What are you playing at? This fight alone sets your status in the sect. Now no one will object to you entering the elite area, yet you refuse? Isn't this the whole reason why Weiwa brought you? Zhuo Fan smiled. Xia Weiwa had me over for Double Dragon Gathering, not to be an elite. How else are you supposed to participate? The elite area's sole purpose is to rear disciples for the Double Dragon Gathering. Then you'll just have to change the rules. The disciples going to Double Dragon Gathering will only be from the elite labor office. None of the others will come from the elite area. Fan shouted his conviction. Everyone was baffled by him. Fan scratched his nose. When all is said and done, it was the elite area that taunted us, even if instigated. I've said that I'll take back the labor office's glory, and I will. First was the inner sect, and now all that's left is the elite area. Didn't you all say we're not worthy of becoming elites? Fine then, to join the Double Dragon Gathering. You'll just have to come to us and do menial tasks. Though it's up to me to see if you're worthy of being a labor. How can you say that? We didn't say anything like that. Why should we pay the price for those two brats' crimes? And aren't they dead already? Fiend Yang advised, Fan, your amazing talent has us on your side, but learn when to back down. I need to be tough, since it concerns my disciples' dignity. Fan said, Tell Siawiwa if he accepts, I'll join Double Dragon Gathering. And if he refuses, I'll just stay here as the labor's steward. The fiends' faces fell while Kuei Lang's side was awed. He's the best manager the labor office has ever seen. Going as far as to talk back to the powers that be for them. That's why those 4 scheming demons follow him. It's not just their interest in him, but his worth too. Chapter 598. Worth. Chapter 598. Worth. The trio turned apprehensive, not wanting to accept Fan's request. Yet unable to refuse Fan was an irrefutable participant in the Double Dragon Gathering. It was his worth none of them could ever replace Steward Zhua. Congratulations. This time the entire sect will hum with your name. I bet tomorrow will be busy for the labor office with its new recruits. Ha ha ha, even becoming elite will be a cinch. None of those inner sect oldies will make a peep. Venerable, by praised Venerable Chi, said, I bet there's no one else like you in the 9 sects to kill 2 ethereal stage elders as a disciple. You've topped them all. The disciples must be worshipping you by now, their role model. They'll all want to get closer to you. We had to work hard to get those that left back, so they wouldn't offend you, hee. The other oldies of the labor office nodded. All a smile, Fan gave a thin smile back, turning to the fiends. As I said, I won't enter the elite area. Though venerables, sirs, can do what they think about my conditions. Fan grinned, spun on his heel, and walked away, not before flipping a nasty smirk back a few steps after. By the way, your elite disciples are in a world of pain, you know. Shouldn't you be hurrying back? What? They all cried out in shock, noticing Fan's gaze. Oh, shoot! They forgot the kid burst into the elite area, and there was no way he'd take it easy on anyone. Venerable Chi and Bai's grandchildren were still there as well. Everyone was anxious. Steward Zhua, were you that hard on them? The 2 were even more concerned than the fiends, but they also grew nervous at the prospects. While no one liked those leeches, they were the strongest disciples of the sect meant to go to Double Dragon Gathering. Fan just shrugged. Ha ha ha, lighten up. I'm not one to get rid of anyone I do not know, or I'd be making too many enemies for nothing. They're not too easy either, or they could have just gotten up and reported me. Whoosh! Venerable Bai and Chi shot for the skies in panic, followed by other venerables and elders with kin in the elite area. On the other hand, the fiends eased a breath the minute Fan assured them they were still breathing. Fiend Yang eyed Fan. We will consider your condition. The rules the sect has been built upon for thousands of years aren't changed overnight. No matter how great a display you pull, some rules just won't bend. Ha ha ha, people make the rules, and they will change as long as the people want them to. Fan threw a box with a snicker. Venerable Fiend Yang, take this to Siawiwa with the words of favor for a favor. If he can't do it, return it. Fiend Yang's face twitched. This is plain bribery. Is it that bad? Fan raised an eyebrow. With you at the top of the sect, you have priority in taking your pick from the pile of wealth. Who can ever bribe you? You finally have me, the magnate, here to get a little something at long last. If you don't want it, then return the earlier demonic treasures as well. Take the elite labor office as the enemy of the elite area. I don't need peace. Now wait a sec. These matters aren't the same. You beat our disciples and apologized. That ends that. The fiends glanced at their storage ring and the trinkets they got and didn't quite feel like giving them up, rethinking Zhuo Fan's proposal and the demonic treasure within this new box. It was part of Zhuo Fan and Xia Weiyue's agreement to annex the elite area and make the labor office the only faction, though it didn't come with outright acceptance from the three. When he fought the inner sect, they didn't give a hoot no matter how many burned or how many fell, since the cream of both parties would end up in the elite area. Now Zhuo Fan wanted the elite area abolished, aiming for their bread and butter. No matter how much they cared for the sect's future and liked Zhuo Fan as a talent, no one would be that happy to throw away their livelihood. We're digging our own grave. Should we just take these treasures for ourselves and leave Weiyue to decide? The trio pondered a good while, then nodded with a sneaky smile. They not only came out one treasure richer, but they also had a way out. We're not as selfish as the inner sect to block the sect's growth. We will leave it to sect leader to be fair and just in his ruling, to avoid despicable methods such as bribery. Zhuo Fan grinned. Sugarcoat it with as many excuses as you want. It's still selfishness. You need but take this single step, and you'll be falling in the inner sect's footsteps. I held my end of the bargain, and it's up to him to decide what to do with you when you stole his gift. The trio shuddered and faltered, covering the fear with anger. Are you a mind reader? Ha ha ha, of course not. All I see is your greedy eyes, oblivious to anything else. Zhuo Fan added, no gain satisfies a greedy mind. One wrong move and death awaits. It's best you think this through, sirs. Ha! Zhuo Fan left with a laugh. The trio lost at what to do and looking from the box to themselves. Are we just going to give this to Xia Weiyue and dig our elite area's grave? While they were at an impasse as to what to do, a mile out, Xia Weiyue saw everything. The kid just entered the radiant stage and already formed his soul, so strong too, an abomination. Since I last saw him in Tianyu a decade ago, he has become a new man in character and strength. But this will only make the demon scheming sects rise come faster. He's a true gem. Xia Weiyue was full of praise for him, but scowled as he eyed the three fiends of hell. Don't tell me the fools are going to take Zhuo Fan's respectful gift for me for themselves. I even came over to see if the kid could handle the elders, lest everything would go to waste. You better be damn sure you three bring me that gift, or else. Xia Weiyue squinted before, leaving Venerable. Bai's gang stepped into the devastation around the elite area, and the disciples were strewn about. Each of the oldies found their target and breathed easier the next second. They're only hurt. If they died, with how savage Steward Zhuo is, the sect will run with blood. Liener, Changlong, Grandpa, we're here. As Bai and Qi called out, Bai Lian and Qi Changlong replied. The two went over and breathed easier too. Inner organs are shaken up and only sealed vessels. You'll be back on your feet in a few days. The kid was truthful. He only killed Qi Feng and Yu Juan. Bai Lian hugged Bai Lian. Venerable Qi nodded. Old Bai, should we have these two go to him? He has to know his allies, or the next time he flips. With his glorious reputation now, making friends is the best thing for these children. Venerable Bai's eyes flashed. Bai Lian asked, Grandpa, you mean that wild beast? The Venerables nodded. Venerable sirs, he wrecked the elite area and breached the rules. You should uphold the sect's laws and not let him off. Lu Xia was outraged. 2 elites are killed, and the 3 Venerables won't stand for it. Venerable Sure will surely make use of it and fight. Sirs will do well not to make the wrong choice. Venerable Bai laughed. What a foolish disciple. What do you think the rules are for? To raise the strong. With enough worth and strength, the sect itself will pave your way. As for the 3 Venerables, they must be grinning right about now from the demonic treasures they got from the kid. As for Venerable Sure, his 2 prized helpers, the 2nd and 7th elders, were challenged and killed by the kid, in plain sight too. There's not even the chance of getting revenge. with the inner sect's elders and venerables cowering, who will stir up more trouble. No way. Bai Lian Luxia, and Qi Changlong gasped in disbelief. Venerable Bai shook his head. Disciples all the same, yet so much above everyone else. He twisted the rules to his will, and there's nothing you can do about it. His worth trumps anyone else's. You better sit down if you know what's good for you. The three were speechless. Chapter 599. Pave the Way. Chapter 599. Pave the Way. Venerable Sure, this is horrible. Venerable Sure enjoyed some fine wine under a pavilion, a smile tracing his lips as his plans came to a head that was until the shout ruined his mood. Grand Elder scrambled over in a panic. Venerable Sure dissed him. Grand Elder, you've been through a lot at your age, yet a trifle riles you up. Trifle? Taken aback, Grand Elder asked. You know Venerable Sure? Venerable Sure grinned in pride. I planned for it. Ugh, Grand Elder stammered. You had those two go to their deaths? Grand Elder, how can you still not understand? Venerable Sure raised an eyebrow at his dumbstruck face. Think about it. The second and seventh elders went to make a mess of things in the labor office. I'd bet the place must be in turmoil right about now. But it's all fine. With how loose they are, giving them some incentive will have most of them back with us. We'll then use the excuse of disturbing the sect to crush the elite labor office for good. Since they held the apology banquet, the chaos ensuing will be on them. Grand Elder nodded. Oh, that's what Sir means. Isn't that why you're here? Venerable Sure sipped his wine. Grand Elder scratched his nose. These matters are different, yet surprisingly the same. How come? The two elders did make a scene at the banquet per your orders, Grand Elder began. Venerable Sure nodded all naturally, and Grand Elder softly continued. Though they ended up killed. Bang! The wine cup slipped and scattered to pieces on the floor. Venerable Sure turned an incredulous eye to Grand Elder. Gee, Grand Elder, see, can you repeat that? I said the two elders ended up getting killed at the banquet. Grand Elders repeated, disillusioned. Venerable Sure. How? Who had the gall to do such a thing? No venerable has such a right. A venerable would have been much better, at least would give us an excuse. But Grand Elder shook his head in sorrow. The one to do the deed was a disciple in plain sight, too. He used the rules to challenge and kill them so that we can't touch him. Venerable Sure trembled like a leaf. A disciple? Who was it? Who can kill ethereal stage elders? Since when did our sect have such a disciple? Who else but Zhuofan? Grand Elder shrugged as he explained everything. Venerable Sure slumped in his chair. A bloody feast. It was premeditated, a trap all along. There's no such thing as apologizing in advance. This was done with full intent of the crime. In regards to this, Zhuofan planned on killing the two from the start, but he did it flawlessly. Grand Elder sighed. He first went to challenge the elite area using the same rule that states in a duel between different statuses there are no repercussions. No matter how much damage he caused, it'll be those three venerables dealing with it, not us. But Zhuofan soothed them as well. Then the kid challenged the elders, and under the eyes of everyone, they died all for nothing too. We can't use this to get to him. Venerable Sure's face sank in rage. That devious punk played us, but that pales when he has the power to threaten us. He even killed 2 ethereal stage elders to prove it. This never happened in the history of the sect. It will make him the single most important figure in the sect. And with the double dragon gathering on our doorstep, he'll have the sect at his whim. He is a great genius that might even get us in the middle 3 sects at the double dragon gathering. Grand Elder sighed. Venerable Sure's eyes glinted. What's the point if it's not on our side? We'll only suffer for it. Then Grand Elder probed Dang. The meeting bell answered for him, and Grand Elder's words were drawn out. It's the inner sect meeting. The sect leader must have called for it. Who the hell else is there that would have the gall to mess with me and strike the bell? Venerable Sure felt more and more suffocated. Xiaowiwa saw his dog Gatsama under him and wants to promote the punk for it. He wants to send him to the elite area. What do we do? Grand Elder asked Venerable Sureside. Nothing. By killing our 2 elders, he established his worth and might. Now even some elders and venerables from the inner sect see hope for the sect in him. The brat has earned great merit and advancement is imminent. All we can do is bide our time. Grand Elder's brow shook Venerable Surespat. I know Xiaowiwa like the back of my hand. He's uplifting Zhuo Fan for the Double Dragon Gathering. But once it passes, Zhuo Fan's talent will threaten his status. We just have to wait for when they'll be at odds and each other's throat, while we will be laying low until they do. Grand Elder pondered and nodded with glinting eyes. An hour later, in the Grand Hall, Xiaowiwa was on his throne bearing a majestic vibe, with the elders and venerables on either side of him. Even 3 fiends of hell were among them. The sour Venerable Sure looked at Xiaowiwa's wide grin, laughing an end. Something amazing happened today, the new replacing the old. A disciple challenged 2 inner sect elders, a testament to the promising new generations, to the demon-scheming sect's great new future and glory. The oldies' faces twitched on cue. We just had 2 of our elders killed in cold blood, and you call that an achievement? It's brazen humiliation is what this is. While the labor office's oldies were smugger than ever, joining in sect leaders Joy Xiaowiwa, so Venerable Sure was still brooding and continued. Now all of you know of Zhuo Fan's might, and I can assume there'll be no objections in having him participate in Double Dragon Gathering, will there? No. The labor office's side echoed, and the inner sect remained silent, their eyes converging on Venerable Sure, yet Venerable Sure was like a stone. Zhuo Fan doesn't want to be elite while requesting for the Double Dragon Gathering's participants to be from the labor office. That is the only condition for joining the gathering. Xiaowiwa eyed Venerable Sure in doubt. The entire hall exploded with noise. The labor office's side supported Zhuo Fan, of course, while the inner sect was totally against it. Sect leader, it's against every rule. Sect leader, the brat is conceited and should rein him in instead of indulging him. Sect leader, the rules are clear and must be upheld. They all voiced their strong objections to this outrageous proposal. Enough! Venerable Sure sneered, and the hall was silent. Venerable Sure's eyes flashed. The rules have always been made to pave the way for the strong. Since it was Zhuo Fan's request, I agree. No way. Everyone was slack-jawed, Xiaowiwa included. What is the old weasel up to this time? Chapter 600, Relocating. Chapter 600, Relocating. Silent as the grave. Did Venerable Sure wake up on the wrong side of the bed today? Why is he on Zhuo Fan's side? Allies and enemies alike were stunned, watching the old-timer as a cow looked at a new gate. Have I said something wrong? Venerable Sure smiled at the rest. Only a blind man can't see Zhuo Fan's talent. He is the best chance our sect has in Double Dragon Gathering. We have to remove all obstacles for him to join it, including this quaint rule. Ugh. The stunned silence persisted for a good while. Wuiwa had to blink again and again to gain some semblance of reasoning back. Venerable Sure is quite right. I agree. The Double Dragon Gathering's candidates shall be chosen from the elite labor office, with Zhuo Fan in charge. The inner, outer, and elite areas are to cooperate. That is good and all, but we guide the elite area's disciples for the Double Dragon Gathering. With how the candidates are chosen from the elite labor office, do we still hold our posts? Fiend Yang asked, having received Zhuo Fan's good-natured gifts. They never opposed such a decision, and Xiaowiwa had planned for the kid to be the team leader from the start. All the more, since Zhuo Fan had such a wild reputation and everyone sighed. No matter what ruckus he stirred, it'd be swept under the rug. He even got the right to choose his teammates. All this old fiend could do was fall in line. As long as there was no conflict of interest or principles, Xiaowiwa would be behind him all the way. This was the power of bribes. Why else would a sect leader accommodate some guy by even changing the rules? All rules were, at the end, made by the strong for the strong. Siehua scratched his nose. The kid can take you in, and it'll be all the same. Having the three of you in the labor office, where there are already so many more venerables, won't harm it. The trio shrugged. The day had come that these venerable coaches had to balk at the whims of a disciple. It never happened in the history of the demon-scheming sect. Not once, while the inner sect's oldies' hearts jumped. No matter how godlike Shuofan was, he was still a disciple. With such authority behind him, he could even affect the other oldies' fate. That was a bitter pill to swallow, though a glance at Venerable sure told them they had nothing to worry about, and sighed in the end if their boss was silent. All they could do was follow the decision came to pass. And after ironing in some more details, the meeting came to a close. Ha ha ha, how times have changed. The lowest rung of a sect, a mere labor office, has now become its center, even above the elite area. Yet those rotten laborers are still sweeping the disciples and mine lodgings. What's so hard to accept? That side had sported a sudden monkey that even challenged the elite area. The entire sect sees him as the apple of their eye, even fonder than their ancestors, and all to regain the sect's dignity and interests in Double Dragon Gathering. I reckon you'd be flaunting him by now if he was your disciple. When all is said and done, might makes right. The elders and venerables gossiped in groups of 3 or 5, grumbling and complaining as they left the hall, left alone with Venerable Shur. Sioa turned a quizzical eye at the old man. Did the world flip? Venerable Shur, to take my side! Ha ha ha, sect leader, you jest. When have I ever gone against you? I only ever argue for the good of the sect. I hope sect leader is kind enough to overlook my past transgressions. Zhuo Fan is beyond anything anyone could expect, earning the public's favor. I only hope he can take our sect higher. Venerable Shur bowed. Xia Vua eyed him with a complete skepticism. His position came bearing. Venerable Shur chuckled. If that is all, sect leader, I shall take my leave. Xia Vua had never said anything all this time, but the old man turned just as he was about to cross the door with a crafty smile. Ha ha ha, sect leader, you are right about one thing. The new replaces the old, but his drive may be too strong. Today he has the sect change the rules for him. Tomorrow he'd have a certain someone's chair. What's that supposed to mean? Xia Vua roared. Venerable Shur grinned. Just the ramblings of an old man sect leader. Venerable Shur left laughing with another bow. With the new replacing the new, I wonder just how far it will go. How decrepit will the old become? Ha! Damn geezer. This chapter is updated by Free Webn. Oh, vel cm siawio spat his knuckles white. The more he thought about it, the more he saw Zhuofan's power within this sect taking root. His speed was too fast even for this sect master's comfort. The decision spread to the entire sect, leaving inner and outer disciples dumbstruck. The elite labor office had only been a lure so far for a shift in power in the sect, yet its status was still in the lowest rung. The only reason disciples forwent its bad name was because of free stuff, yet it hadn't been long since it formed, and it already stood above the elite area, holding the right to judge Double Dragon Gatherings candidates. It meant there was no getting into the elite labor office without strength any longer. Only the best of the best entered the elite area. But now that the elite labor office had authority, the entrance would be all the harsher. The chances were next to nothing the ever spectating. Inner and outer disciples were now hating their guts for the previous indecision of joining the elite labor office. It took just a couple of months for the lame elite labor office to become all the rage, while laborers grew cockier and more confident, especially when the 3 coaching venerables led a gaggle of elites to join elite labor office after passing Zhuofan's strict testing. If they were any more stuck up, their heads would reach their ass. It was they who used to resort to any means to get into the elite area, but lo and behold how the tables had turned. With the elites turned to do the same thing, and all of this came to be by the grace of one laborer, Steward Zhuofan, the manager of the elite labor office. His popularity spiked then and there, to the point of being worshipped. But while the labor office was enjoying the high life, The inner and outer disciples were down in the dumps, all because of Zhuo Fan's order. Even elite laborers are to sweep the floors. The entire sect couldn't afford to mess with him. Bam. A vase crumbled to pieces as it made intimate contact with the hard, cold floor. Kuei Lang picked up the broom and swept the remains while looking sullen at a corner. Your vase. That's a high-class china worth a hefty sum. The youth cried. Kuei Lang barked. What's a damn cultivator wasting spirit stones on these damn decorations? You've soured my mood. Now get out and let me clean. Oh, no, no, no. Senior brother Kuei Lang, this is my fault. I could never have you. Shut it. Steward, Zhuo gave us a job, and we're to sweep the sect clean. Are you trying to make me slack on the job and get punished? Scram! Kuei Lang glared. The youth ran like the wind. Though just outside the door, watching in anxiety and nervousness, the room ended up eliciting a wondrous symphony of sounds. From the dullest to the sharpest in under 15 minutes. Kuei Lang strutted out with the broom in tow. Now it's spotless. I'll leave the rest to you. Thank you so much, senior brother. The youth bowed, and Kuei Lang left with a puffed-up chest. The youth went in to watch a horror show. The table was only good for tinder now, and the walls sported extra-large breathing holes. This is not sweeping, but demolition. Thinking about how he'd get his room cleaned every day brought a dark cloud over his face. The guy was on the verge of tears. Is there no presentable labor out there? Well, the good ones were sent to the oldies, while the best of the best, the elite laborers, went to inner and outer disciples' homes. Having never done this, they tended to put too much oomph into it, resulting in this wonderful work of art, yet unique every time, though the demolition men knew full well no inner and outer disciple would dare make a peek as they went to work. Since the elite labor office was the cream of the crop in the sect, everyone was dying to join. No matter how they grumbled, they couldn't even fight back, not when it would only get them killed. Laborers had the sect rules at their back, yet the power of elites. It was so ridiculous that not even oldies messed around. I will definitely get in the labor office tomorrow. The youth couldn't take it anymore, but then recalled his meager strength and sighed. With so many vying to get in, the labor office now holds a test to take in only the best. Chapter 601 Demon Soul Sex Visit. Chapter 601 Demon Soul Sex Visit. The hazy rays of the morning sun shone upon a small little courtyard. The imposing and immovable figure stood upright like a statue. The only change happening was his shadow. Shrinking as the sun rose, he had been standing there for 7 days, unmoving and silent. His thick, brutal aura kept anyone at bay, sending them shivering. A faint tune wafted over as some small-time elder passed over. The statue's ears twitched, and his eyelid trembled. Turning his head, "Oh, Elder Yuan, you're back!" The statue wanted nothing else but to spew curses, but thought better of it, opting for a respectful reply. Elder Yuan started, then grinned, skipping over. "Ha ha ha! Sir Guihu, what would you need of me?" "Air." Guihu frowned, lost for words. Zhuo Fan and Kuei Lang did say this guy was more than it seemed, but he just couldn't figure out how. The old man was just that, old and average. He had always been subservient and flattering like any other nobody, and made it all the harder for the grand top inner sect disciple to bend a knee and ask for help. Zhuo Fan's words of respect for the old coot rang in his mind once again, and his discomfort faded. Throwing his little pride away meant nothing when Zhuo Fan got off his high horse to debate with this guy Gui, who stammered at long last. Elder Yuan, Steward Zhuo had sent me for advice in the way of the heart. Please enlighten me. Gui, who flushed in an instant, dying of embarrassment for speaking like a 3-year-old. Elder Yuan raised an eyebrow, then smiled. Ha ha ha! Very well done to have overcome your hubris in talking to little old me. This act alone marks great progress in your near future. Being next to Zhuo Fan for so long does have its perks. How come his mood changed? Gui, who was dumbstruck, seeing the old Yuan losing his ingratiating air of a nobody and gaining an air of mystery. His eyes were so deep that Gui, who felt like he was sinking into a bottomless well, who the hell is this guy? What's with the labor office hiding so many freaks? Gui, whose heart jumped. Elder Yuan's imposing aura left him feeling a majestic air that not even his master or venerable Shi could unleash. Ha ha ha. Gui, who? Come, I shall impart to you the way of the world. Elder Yuan smiled as he walked deeper into the labor office. Gui, who was right behind him, Elder Yuan stopped before an ant mound. Seeing those busy little critters carrying food, he said, "How would you go about killing these ants?" Gui, who was baffled, with a stomp, how else? Ha ha ha, right you are. These little creatures can die just from that. Try it. Elder Yuan held his beard with a vague smile. Gui, who did as he was told despite the increasing doubt about where this was going. When he lifted his foot, he saw tens of ants dead, but some crawled back up still. Going about their way, Elder Yuan shook his head. See that? Someone slipped through. This is your current state, having power but no means to use it, making fighting even someone in the radiant stage like you a challenge. You've had your way in the inner sect all this time, not because you're strong, but because there was no real expert around. You will see that Double Dragon Gathering will have only people with a firm heart, especially those from the middle and superior 3 sections. Being pushed, they'll be sure to push back harder. Gui, who was flustered, urging Elder Yuan, What should I do? We come back to the same question. How to kill the ants. Elder Yuan leaned over and picked an ant. Your kick was casual because you took these ants for nothing. What if you were dying of hunger and these ants were the only thing around? Elder Yuan, I'm a radiant stage. I don't get. Gui, who blinked. Elder Yuan shook his head. How thick-headed. I was only making an analogy. Or you can also take it as being a child and hungry. How would you have dealt with these ants? Gui, who stared at the scurrying little bugs, and his eyes turned red. Yes, that's right. You'll eat them all or you'll die. Elder Yuan nodded, releasing a bloodthirst so thick it left Gui, who shivering. Feeling icy water dumped over him, he turned dumbstruck, looked to Elder Yuan, putting that ant in his mouth and swallowing, but the shocking bloodthirst continued. And doubt came then, who is this man? Elder Yuan held his beard with a smile. See, even when dealing with an ant, you must give your all or starve. You must find your own reason to kill, or you'll never give your all in killing anything. Heaven is cruel to all living things, yet also fair. Thus demonic and righteous paths coexist. The righteous love life, and the demonic pursue slaughter. But killing must be done for life to give it meaning, or slaughtering all in your path would end up consumed by it, erring from the right path. To pursue the path, one must become demonic. That is the only way. Tell me, when you killed any disciple you came upon, was that your true strength? You do not even know what that even is. You've seen Zhuo Fan, his simple yet precise strikes. They all were meant to kill. Gui, who shuddered, and respect painted his always stern face for this old guy. Go, be a laborer like Zhuo Fan said, and it will help your heart grow. Youth is arrogance. It is something every one of you has, and that goes double for talents. But the road is filled with twists and turns, and sometimes it pays to show restraint. When you learn to do it, like Zhuo Fan, you will have made progress. It will be of great help to you in future cultivation. Elder Yuan said. Gui, who gave a deep bow and left as leaving, was followed by a clap-clap. Ha ha ha. Elder Yuan's words ring true and home as always. It's the first time I heard you need to be demonic to thread the right path. I'll have to analyze it further. Elder Yuan smiled, then shook his head. Steward Zhuo, now don't make fun of these old bones. You're much better at it than me. How kind of you, Elder Yuan. I only wished to have a night chat with you. As Gui, who waited 7 days for you, so have I. It happens to be a wait in vain. It's best if you return. Elder Yuan shook his head. Zhuo Fan raised an eyebrow. What purpose does this serve? That's my line. When did you get on Demon Soul, Sect's bad side? They're at our door and asking for you. Elder Yuan shrugged. Zhuo Fan said, Third young Master Han. Him too, but someone else as well. His second brother, second young Master Han, is here to challenge the elite area. But that should be no problem to you. Elder Yuan nodded. Zhuo Fan mumbled, He's after my laborers. What man would come to poke in your labor office's affairs? Though sect leader had the labor office clean up the ring. It is your duty, but if you won't go, it'll have to be one of the elites. Zhuo Fan rolled his eyes and cursed as he left. Xie Weiwei is forcing my hand. They came for the elite area, so why the hell are you dragging the labor office into this? It's not my fault he's the sect leader paying attention to the sect's reputation. As the manager of the labor office, that's something you don't have to worry about. Elder Yuan chuckled. Chapter 602, Ghost Chasing Shadow. Chapter 602, Ghost Chasing Shadow. Bam! A youth got flung through the air in the great hall before hitting the ground with a crunch. Xie Weiwei and the rest watched in cold silence while the disciples felt their legs shaking. You call this an elite demon-scheming sect? They can't take one hit. The old man with black hair sat in the guest seat with a cold eye, and a snicker the youth next to him bore the same condescending look. Third brother, are you sure he was from the demon-scheming sect? Beyond a shadow of a doubt. Second brother, I heard those little shits even calling him Steward Zhuo. A vicious youth in the center of the hall shouted, "What the hell is that punk? Stop hiding like a coward and fight my second brother." Venerable sure held his nose. Elder Mo, you may be from a middle 3 sect, but that's no reason to force yourself in. I told you once, and I'll say it again. This is a sect, not a clan to have stewards. Why don't you pick from our extensive range of elders and venerables? We came here for my disciple spar and to promote our sex friendship. How is that possible between elders? Some will take it as an act of war instead. All the elders and venerables there turned glum. With Xie Weiwei giving him a withering gaze, the demon soul sect might have status over them, but they were one of Chanyu's 3 guardian sects, not some thug they can intimidate. Xie Weiwei barked at the trembling disciples. What are you standing around for, and get in already? You're elites, for crying out loud. Act like it. Lose, and it's your life on the line. The disciples felt like crying, oh, the humanity. What elites when the labor office stole all the good ones? We got nothing to fight Demon Soul Sect's 3rd young master with. With how 3rd young master Han wiped the floor with them, there was no way even if they took turns they could beat 2nd young master Han. 3rd young master Han sported a mocking smile. So these are the peak talents demon scheming sect has to offer. No wonder you were so lame in the last Double Dragon gathering. I alone might even win it the next time around, ha ha ha. Xie Weiwei's anger reached a boiling point. Last Double Dragon gathering was the greatest pain for him, and now a damn punk was picking his scars. Elder Mo and 2nd young master Han only sneered. You think you got what it takes to challenge the whole elite area? 3 people in rough clothes and holding a broom walked in. Chi Changlong was in front, with Bai Lian and Lu Xie at his sides. They were the best of the elite area, yet had to do menial tasks all the same after turning to the elite labor office. That included the work attire and tools. 3rd young master Han turned a skeptical eye over, finding them to be nothing more than a sex nobodies that butted in his affairs. What was odd was how the elite area's other disciples here relaxed at their coming. Senior brother Chi, you're here. Any later and we'd be goners. Yeah, they're just too savage, always going for the kill. The elite area's disciples complained in anger and fear. Chi Changlong grew enraged, while the 3rd young master Han was dumbstruck. The hell? Why are young masters pleading with beggars for help? What is demon scheming sect playing at? A single look at the slumped junior brother had Chi Changlong grasped the situation. The opponent was tough to even dispatch a 6th layer radiant stage expert in one blow. He turned to 3rd young master Han and found him in the 8th layer and shouted, I've long since wanted to meet you. 3rd young master Han, if you would. Who? 3rd young master Han squinted and said, 9th layer radiant stage? What is your name? Labor office's Chi Changlong. He snorted. 3rd young master Han turned to Elder Mo. Labor? Since when do labors achieve such cultivation? Demon scheming sect has no respect for talent to throw him into labor. But noticing the other two were of the same cultivation, he fell silent. Is that why the demon-scheming sect always came last, because it ruins its talents? Not that he cared. Since they came to die, he was most accommodating. Third young Master Han snickered. 9th layer radiant stage, this should be fun. Not that having 1 layer over me will be any damn good. You'll see soon enough. Chi Changlong attacked. Third young Master Han replied with a palm strike bam. The 2 palms met, and third young Master Han trembled in his spot. Chi Changlong had to stagger 10 feet back. How could this be? Chi Changlong was incredulous. How am I the weaker one when I'm above him in cultivation? Third young Master Han mocked. Haha, oh, I saw all right. While a layer above me, your meridians are smaller than mine, all because of treatment. Do you have any idea how many pills I had to eat? And I started small too. How about you, did you get any even? This is the gap between our sect, and with the coming of Double Dragon Gathering, we'll only get farther ahead. There's no way a lower 3 sect will ever topple a middle 3 sect. All of the demon-scheming sect trembled in rage. Third young Master Han saw the hard and stubborn faces of the trio and grinned. Don't believe me? Then come at me, all of you. That should bring you down to earth. You asked for it, so don't come crying when you lose. Chi Changlong knew he was the weaker one from that exchange, and agreed. Third young Master Han snickered. You 3 aren't enough, even for a warm-up. Bastard. Chi Changlong snapped, and the trio shot for him. They exploded with power and unleashed devastating attacks that made all other elites hopeful. There's no way third young Master Han can take the combined attack of all of them. Second young Master Han and Elder Mo were calm as ever. Third young Master Han even smirked. Fetid fled. Meteor shower. Earth shatter. Green, white, and yellow shone ever brighter, combining and bearing down on third young Master Han. His reply was to shimmer black and make a sign quasi-earth-ranked martial art, ghost-chasing shadow. Eerie black figures loomed around third young Master Han, wailing and shrieking as they lunged for the trio's attack. The 3 were sent flying, yet the shadows pressed the advantage. Grabbing their heads, it was their turn to howl in pain from the agony. Third young Master Han grinned in pride. He wants to crush their souls. Venerable, Bai cried out in worry. Venerable Chi was the same elder Mo saw them and chuckled in a most annoying way. Should elders and Venerable be interfering in a disciples' fight? Or does the demon-scheming sect not understand this most basic rule? Sect leader. The 2 venerables pleaded to Xia Wua with their eyes, but he was silent. He took the sect's reputation above anyone's fate. Even the disciples, the venerables, were in pain seeing their kin about to lose their souls. Their nails cut into their palms and drew blood. The more demonic the sect, the more strict the rules. Any violation would be met with swift demise. No one would save their kin now, not when both choices meant death all the same. Chapter 603, Encroachment. Chapter 603, Encroachment. Who? A strong wind blew just then, scattering the shadows from creeping any deeper into the 3 souls, and it kept going still, forcing third young Master Han on the defensive boom. The crushing force pushed him dozens of meters back, leaving cracked tiles in his wake when he did stop. His feet were knee-deep in the floor. Who did that? Third young Master Han broke into a cold sweat, lowering his trembling arms to see second young Master Han and Elder Mo frowned, their gazes fixed on the thin youth coming and bearing a cold face and a broom, and by the feel of him, he was just a fresh, radiant stage disciple. Third young Master Han was in shock, turning to his brother. As second brother, that's him. You got nerve, kid, coming here again. Was last time not enough for you? Zhuo Fan spared him a single glance before tending the trio. You aren't dead yet, now scram. A laborer's only job is to sweep, not be a pain in the ass seeking the limelight. What's their challenge on the elite area got to do with us? Zhuo Fan had no restraint, But at least the trio was saved. They rubbed their aching heads and gave Zhuo Fan a nod and a look of dread to third young Master Han before leaving. Without complaint, they knew all too well they were just too weak. Even in a 3-on-1 exchange, Venerable Qi, and by breathed easier, Zhuo Fan spun on his heel and was already walking away. You think you can just come in here and leave after interfering? And who are you, an elder or venerable of the demon scheming sect? Zhuo Fan threw over his shoulder at the youth resembling third young Master Han. Second young Master Han mocked. I am Demon Soul Sect's second young Master Han. I heard the demon scheming sect had a presentable disciple and came to be enlightened. May I be honored to know your name? Demon scheming sect's labor office's honcho, Zhuo Fan, but everyone calls me Steward Zhuo. Swishing the broom, Zhuo Fan scoffed. Since you're no elder of mine, I don't have time to waste on you. I got work to do. Bye. Hold it right there. Is this how you treat an honored guest? Second young Master Han shouted again at the gross lack of disrespect. Zhuo Fan's mouth worked as he walked. An honored guest needs honored elders and venerables to look after. What are you doing, going after this little old labor for? We're here to sweep the floors, not tend to guests. It's not in our job description. Sect leader Xia, didn't you say I can challenge anyone in the sect? Second young Master Han turned to Xia Wue. Seeing he was talking to a wall, Xia Wue gave a mocking nod. As long as you want to, second young master. Oh, I will. With red eyes and a sneer, second young Master Han jumped, ready to strike with his 2 fingers. Zhuo Fan, let's see you get away now. Pseudo-Earth ranked martial art, underworld blade. Whoosh! An eerie energy shot from those fingers for Zhuo Fan's head. The air shimmered as it passed, releasing creepy howls and sucking the warmth out of the hall. Venerable Sure cried. Demon Soul Sect's patron art, the mystical soul art, underworld blade. I hear low, ethereal stage experts will die all the same from a peak, radiant stage cultivator using this art. It's an art focused on killing. Xia Wue frowned and sighed. The Han clan's 3 young masters are all true talents. A shame the second one had to meet such a monster. All the oldies snickered alongside Elder Mo, had full confidence in second young Master Han, but soon found the demon scheming sect's higher-ups were sporting grins. You're telling me an attack to kill an ethereal stage expert isn't enough to crush a radiant stage cultivator? Not like anyone told him. Zhuo Fan, just a few days back, killed 2 elders like nothing. Second young Master Han could only kill early ones too, making the whole of demon scheming sect's echelon find him sorely lacking as the blade came for Zhuo Fan's head. He brushed with his broom behind him. Roar! The draconic roar crushed the blade like a hammer smashing a needle, and then went for second young Master Han. Himself the young master got flung way up high and left a trail of blood in his wake, though he gnashed his teeth to bear through the pain as his body shook all over. Second young master, Elder Mo started. Second young Master Han signaled him back, watching the smug sweeper with shock and fear. Third young Master Han got his trembling feet under him and sported the same look of dread as his brother. Is he even human? How can a fresh, radiant stage cultivator take down second brother in a single strike? Body strength aside, is his soul that freakish too? How are we supposed to compete with such perfection? The added mockery of Zhuo Fan only amplified the fear. Zhuo Fan snickered. Now the hall is clean. Don't make it dirty. Second young Master Han was outraged, but he was choking on blood and couldn't retort. Zhuo Fan sported the same condescending smile as he left with a snort. Xia Wue was overjoyed. Never had he been made to look so good. Elder Mo, sorry, he's just too rude. That's why I left him in the labor office. I hope you can forgive the offense. Oh, so sect leader Xia is in the hobby of demoting strong disciples. Elder Mo snorted. Are you going to have them join the Double Dragon gathering? What do you think? Xia Wue, smirked Elder Mo, nodded with a small bow. Then we shall disturb you no further, and we'll meet again at Double Dragon gathering. Farewell. Farewell. Xia Wue showed him the door. Elder Mo flicked his sleeve and took his disciples. The oldies cracked up when they were gone. Ha ha ha, look at them. They're in the middle, 3 sects, yet never saw them so wretched. Don't get too happy. There's still no pushovers. Sia Wiwe sneered. They came to probe us. Joie Fan must have messed with third young Master Han, and they came to assess the threat. They just accomplished their objective. Won't that mean we're exposed? Venerable, by frown, Sia Wiwe waved his hand. Such a flimsy cover wouldn't have lasted anyway. It's best to reveal it spectacularly like today. To tell them my sect aims for a middle 3 sect position. Brilliant, sect leader. The elders bowed. A disciple burst in shouting. Beast-taming sect's elders and disciples request an audience. Beast-taming sect now. The elders looked baffled. What is with today? Sect encroachment. Sia Wiwe mocked. Just another scouting party. Last time we took 3 of their elders in Tianyu, so they want to do us in at the Double Dragon Gathering. What's there to fear of another lower 3 sect like us? One elder cursed. Just 6 Shuafan on them, and that's that. Fool! Sia Wiwe showed a nasty smile. We need to show off to the middle 3 sects so that they don't kick us around. But for the lower 3 sects, the secret weapon, Shuafan, is not to be divulged. They'll bite more than they can chew when he shows himself in the Double Dragon Gathering. They all exclaimed and admired him. Brilliant! Chapter 604. Target Middle 3 Sect. Chapter 604. Target Middle 3 Sect. Bam! A figure in fine clothes and bright colors got flung out of the hall with a bang again. Blood flowed, and the body banged up and rolled 3 times on the ground, yes, but he was still alive. At least what faced him was a buffed man in gray robes with a snickering look sent at the rest of the disciples around. Is demon scheming sect's elite area that's short-handed to have only your waists? The disciples watched the 8th layer radiant stage thug with anger, but the sight of sect leader's cold face had them bury it deep, for crying out loud. The elite area isn't short-handed. It's that damn labor office taking everyone good from us. First was third young Master Han, and now this cocky bastard. The only reason you're still standing is because the sect leader doesn't let us get you a fan, or even Chi Changlong could waste you. You pompous prick. Regardless of their thoughts, Sia Wiwe's glare let them know not to do that. A grizzled old man looked smug. Sect leader Sia, I hear the elite area has many fine geniuses. How come I don't see them? Elder Lu is too kind. What you see here is all my sect has in terms of elites for your disciple to spar with. Are you not satisfied? Sia Wiwe faked anger, the old guy admitted. Sure you're not hiding some? My great sect has nothing to hide. Or is Elder Lu doubting my words? Sia Wiwe slammed the table. The elder's eyes darted to and fro, then nodded. Ha ha ha! With sect leader Sia's prestige, such a lie is beneath you. I of course believe you. Sia Wiwe spoke with a dark face. Then I shall no longer disturb you. Please forgive my presumptuous tone. Elder Lu eyed Sia Wiwe one last time as he bowed and left. He said to the thug on his way, Hui Xiong, let's go. We best not overstay our welcome. Thank you, sect leader Sia, for accommodating us and the sparring. Thank you, sect leader Sia, for reading these punching bags. While useless, they did get me worked up. You've been far too kind. Hui Xiong cupped his hand with a snicker. Sia Wiwe's face was ghastly, though no word slipped. Elder Lu grinned, throwing more biting remarks. Hui Xiong, that's no way to treat sect leader Sia. You can't be so blunt about it, no matter how true it is. They're going to fight in the Double Dragon Gathering and hold some flimsy hope still. Good. Bye. Having enough theatrics for one day? Sia Wiwe shouted. Elder Lu waved dismissively as he left with his grinning disciple. They just cut the corner, and Sia Wiwe in the hall showed a devious grin. A bunch of ignorant fools. We'll see who laughs last at the Double Dragon Gathering. The oldies joined him in rambunctious laughter. They were dying to see Shuafan wiping that ridiculous grin off their faces, preferably with blood. That got them giddy. Ha, ha. A mile off, demon scheming sect. Second young Master Han spat blood again. his face blanching. Second brother, I told you we should have asked big brother, but you just wanted to show off. Now, look at what became of you. Both of us suffered from the same prick. Third young Master Han lamented his brother's fate. Second young Master Han glared. Quit it. How was I supposed to know that a nobody lower 3 sect would have such a sicko? Based on his strength, no one in the Radiant stage can take him on. Our only hope against him lies with the eldest young master in the ethereal stage. Elder Mo's eyes flashed. At least we made some use of this time, probing Demon's scheming sect. It's definitely aiming for middle 3 sect status. We have to keep our own position at all costs, come what may. The Han brothers nodded. 2 figures walked over. He master, now we can rest easy. The demon scheming sect has nothing but punching bags. I'll run through them in the Double Dragon gathering to pay them back for the humiliation in Tianyu. I'll make them stay in the lower 3 sects forever. Ha ha ha, what brash talk. We, Demon Soul sect, are stressed out from that freak and you want to run him through? What are you, a superior 3 sect? The Han brothers turned glum and Elder Mo flashed before the 2 figures peeked. Who's there? Elder Lu and Hui Xiong jerked back, startled at the figure's eerie vibe. A demonic cultivator. I come from Demon Soul sect. Elder Mo nodded. Who are you? And did you come from the demon scheming sect? Elder Lu rushed to reply. I am but an elder in the beast taming sect. Here is Hui Xiong. As you said, we come from the demon scheming sect. Why did you go there? Elder, I took my disciple to spar. Spar. Elder Mo sized Hui Xiong up and found him only in the 8th layer Radiant stage. Period. Nothing else special. Did it go that easy? Master and disciple shared a most egotistical grin if the elder ever saw one. Hui Xiong even puffed up his chest in absolute pride. Demon scheming sect is nothing. In less than 10 moves, I wiped the floor with them. The demon scheming sect is not worth the trouble in the Double Dragon gathering. Our real opponent is Mystical Heaven sect. Everyone, in 10 moves, you. Second young Master Han glared. I ended up sucking pavement from 1 hit, and you think you can take that guy on? Third young Master Han was puzzled. Is this guy an even freakier monster? And asked, which disciples did you defeat? The strongest, the elites. Hui Xiong stuck out his chest harder. If possible, the Han brothers found one profound truth in his words. Did you meet any laborer? Laborer? Whatever for? What do the lowest of the low have to match my greatness? Hui Xiong, snorted the trio, shared a knowing smile. They're the fools, all right. What's wrong? Elder Lu bowed. Elder Mo deflected. Nothing at all. Just thinking how such a genius from the beast-taming sect dealt with all elites from the demon scheming sect. You truly are worthy of becoming the best among the lower 3 sects in the Double Dragon gathering. Naturally, among the lower 3 sects, we are the best. Hui Xiong hit his chest, feeling more pride swelling in his bloated head. Elder Mo's side laughed harder. Hui Xiong took it as if they were laughing with him, while Elder Lu found it off. Why does it sound condescending? Elder Mo gave a wave and they left, leaving the other elder stumped with his disciple. Third young Master Han mocked. Those 2 are the biggest idiots I've ever seen. The demon scheming sect left nothing out. They will suffer the most in the Double Dragon gathering. Xia Wuyue played them like a fiddle. No one will ever expect the strongest disciple of the demon scheming sect to be coming from their lowest rung. The only reason we didn't fall for it as well is because of forcing them to call Zhuofan over. The more reserved Xia Wuyue is, the more it shows his great ambition for the Double Dragon gathering. Elder Mo scratched his beard and thought the Han brothers nodded. The demon scheming sect's aim was clear, the middle 3 sect position, and the one to fall would be the lowest in the middle 3 sects. Chapter 605, Double Dragon Gathering. Chapter 605, Double Dragon Gathering. Who, in a quaint room, Zhuo Fan sat on his stone bed with his eyes closed and a raging azure flame on his forehead. Deep in his mind, a prismatic dragon with the same azure flame on its forehead rested with its eyes closed, its majestic figure brimming with more power with every flicker of the flame hum. Zhuo Fan flashed his eyes open and shook all over as his aura exploded. The dragon's soul did the same and roared, the azure flame covering it and turning the dragon into a flaming dragon, spreading the flames in every corner of his mind roar. Zhuo Fan held at the heavens for a full 15 minutes. Zhuo Fan took a deep breath and took a feel of his boosted power. 3 months was all it took to reach the second layer. Training the soul with azure flame is way faster than any cultivation method out there. And with azure flame and dragon soul combined, his soul achieved perfection, making his soul attacks even deadlier. Steward Zhuo, may these old bones come in? An aged voice had Zhuo Fan quick an eyebrow. Venerable Bai, please. A flick of the hand had the array torn down, and with a point the crude wooden door opened. Venerable Bai smiled, and his eyes brightened at his advance with a cup of his hands. Ha ha ha. Congratulations, Steward Zhuo. Oh my, you're moving up in the world in just 3 months. Steward Zhuo is a true gem in this cultivation world. So many so-called geniuses would be dying of envy. You're too kind, Venerable Bai. I'm just putting in a little bit more effort than the rest. I always tell these youngsters my success came from slow and steady progress, devoted day and night to one goal. But all they want are my pills. Such feisty children. Zhuo Fan shook his head. Venerable Bai's cheek twitched at his touch of the dramatic. Good frickin' actor. The world is saturated with those going at it harder than you, but do you see any other freak around? While having talent is innate, it gives you no right dangling before others. Zhuo Fan smiled. Venerable Bai, to what do I owe this visit? Why aren't you speaking? Why do you think so? Venerable Bai shook his head. Steward Zhuo, sect leader, and the 3 coaching venerables have asked for you. But with you being in seclusion, they haven't disturbed you. Judging from the sound the array gave, they figured you advanced and sent word. Oh, thank you for waiting for me, Venerable Bai. Zhuo Fan bowed most respectfully. Venerable Bai smiled. It's my duty. Why does sect leader need me? Well, Venerable Bai gathered his thoughts. Sect leader and the coaching venerables are asking, so it must be related to Double Dragon Gathering. Zhuo Fan nodded. Xia Weiwei treated the event with such importance. He never told him anything for him to ask about my situation. He must be ready to set off. Zhuo Fan squinted, leaving Venerable Bai. Zhuo Fan went for the hall to find Xia Weiwei, and the fiends waiting. Xia Weiwei smiled. Finally showed up. What can I say? I needed a few days to enter the second layer of the radiant stage. Zhuo Fan shrugged. Xia Weiwei nodded. I know that. Venerable Bai told me. Why else do you think you're not punished for denying my summons? Zhuo Fan remained silent, taking a random seat. Xia Weiwei's face sank. The prick still has no respect after all this time, not even for me. Let's calm down, he still has his uses. Xia Weiwei gnashed his teeth. Fiend Yang laughed. Zhuo Fan, you're advancing so fast, a true talent. We aren't ones to nitpick slights from such geniuses. Rules are made for the strong after all, right, Weiwei? You're one to talk, having the same attitude decades ago. I thought I told you it's sect leader. Xia Weiwei glared. Fiend Yang chuckled. Xia Weiwei went down to business. Zhuo Fan, Double Dragon Gathering is just around the corner, and there are some things you should know about it. Figured as much. Zhuo Fan nodded. Fiend Yang continued. Zhuo Fan, to talk about Double Dragon Gathering, we need to start with the world situation. Have you ever heard of a sacred spirit stone mine? I have one on my finger. However, he was curious how the mortal domain even heard of a sacred mine. But to avoid suspicion, what is that? Ha ha ha. Coming from a backward place like Tianyu, of course you'd not know. The 4 chuckled, with Fiend Yang explaining. Sacred Spirit Stone Mine is the place where an even greater spiritual energy gathers, greater than any spirit stone can hold. The mining is harsh, but it has great applications in arrays, soon making it the target of every sect and empire on these lands. And this world has 5. You're serious? Joie Fan gasped sacred spirit mines made sacred stones, a rarity even in the sacred domains, such that every grand clan monopolized them to the point not even a demonic emperor like him could get one, yet here he was in the mortal domain with 5 of them. Wonder if the clans there would be invading it en masse at the news. Though it got him thinking from another angle. For the land to give birth to sacred mines, it had to have thick spiritual energy. Why was the mortal domain so thin instead? Well, the 4 had an even greater reaction to his reaction. Didn't he just say he doesn't know? Why so jumpy? Joie Fan gave a strained laugh. For the sacred spirit mine to be so precious, it must be quite rare. Yet there are 5 of them. 1 can hardly be divided, while 5 makes it even easier. Joie Fan, you're no fool. You call 5 mines for the entire world many? Joie Fan eyed him. Plus, sacred spirit mines are in a different class from common spirit mines. A spirit mine assists one's cultivation, and even without it, a cultivator can just take the spiritual energy from the air. He can go anywhere with a bit of talent, while sacred spirit mine assists your cultivation and improves your constitution. It's the best ingredient to grow experts. That's what makes it invaluable. Why else do you think middle 3 sects and superior 3 sects are so powerful? Joie Fan turned solemn. They use sacred stones for cultivation. Right you are. This is the basis behind Double Dragon Gathering. Fiend Yang nodded. The 5 mines are split between Eastern lands, Western lands, Southern lands, Northern lands, and Central area to defend their sacred mine. Each area's power formed a union. We belong to the 10-sect alliance of the Western lands, with Double Dragon Manor as our head. While it might be like a sect, it is not, because it has no disciples. It is more of a group formed of strong people, our strongest force in Western lands. They guard the mine against any invaders. To raise the power of Western lands, Double Dragon Gathering holds a Double Dragon Gathering every 3 centuries, selecting the best seeds to groom in the Double Dragon Gathering. Xia Wiyue picked up. However, they do not take these disciples for themselves, returning them after a decade or 2. But even a decade under their teachings and sacred stone cultivation will earn 1 more progress than simple cultivating for centuries. It will be of great benefit for the future, while the chosen disciples' sect will be greatly rewarded as well. Joie Fan's eyes jumped. The sole purpose of Double Dragon Gathering is to protect Western lands, to prepare for war. While the 9 sects to raise themselves participated in it, wishing their disciples were chosen, raised for free into experts, while also earning a big profit for themselves that explains their almost fanatic desire for growth. No one knew more about sacred stones than him. Take a plain OL spiritual gathering array and supply it with sacred stone, and you'd have a sect with the same environment as those in the sacred domain, to raise dozens of talents who could possibly resist the allure. Certainly no man, and without a doubt no sect. Chapter 606 set off. Chapter 606 set off. If it's just to raise experts, why aren't the sacred mines divided among the sects and give everyone a share? Joie Fan asked. Won't it make defending Western lands easier? The 4 had bitter smiles, with Fiend Yang sighing. I wish it were that easy. The mines are oddities of nature to such a degree that it makes mining them hard and slow, and that is only at the fringe. Not even the strongest man in these lands can pierce that tough wall. It forces us to wait for a few centuries before we can mine just a bit of it. Someone planted it. Joie Fan nodded. Be it your average spirit mine or sacred mine, all had their quintessence focused in the center. And the crucial part of these 5 sacred mines was behind a barrier someone placed beforehand, leaving the sacred stones outside of it for the others. In other words, the sacred mines have an owner, no native of the mortal domain. That's for sure. Zhuo Fan understood everything. I see what makes Double Dragon Gathering so important. When do we set off? In a week. Xie Huiyue said, You have 7 days to pick your team from among the disciples to fight in the Double Dragon Gathering for our sect. The higher you rank, the more we will earn. I hope, with your strength, that the demon scheming sect will become a middle 3 sect. Zhuo Fan nodded. We're going alone. The fiends will take you. Just 3 venerables. Zhuo Fan raised an eyebrow at the trio. Aren't we the future of the sect? Fiend Yang shrugged and laughed. Zhuo Fan, leave it to us. Every sect does the same, sending a couple venerables at most. Not even sect leaders can come. Afraid too many experts join and affect the meeting. This is a rule of Double Dragon Manor. Oh, Zhuo Fan nodded. This way at least the disciples can fight to their heart's content. Too many old coots glaring at you from the side will only put bigger pressure on the disciples. How can one conduct a normal match when you have to mind some old guy's thirst for revenge? Double Dragon Manor's rule made perfect sense. You're free to go. You'll be going in a week. Xie Huiyue waved him off. The 3 fiends of hell bowed and left. Zhuo Fan was doing the same, but paused. Xie Huiyue, we need to talk. That's sect leader. Xie Huiyue's face twitched, but all he could do was sigh. What is it then? Zhuo Fan said flatly, Sect leader, our agreement was to enter the demon scheming sect in exchange for the 9th grade pill. I have done my part and only left Double Dragon Gathering to finish. Afterward, I want to know if you'll return my freedom. What's so bad about the demon scheming sect that you want to leave? You're practically a star here and may even go higher in rank sooner or later, at the peak of your career. Even my position isn't out of your reach. Patting his throne, Xie Huiyue snickered. Zhuo Fan shook his head. Home is where your heart is. Without some sort of promise from sect leader, my mind will be affected and will harm my performance at Double Dragon Gathering. You're threatening me? Xie Huiyue scoffed, though only giving a stink eye. Fine. Since you don't like it here, I won't force you to stay. You can go to the Luo clan, but make damn sure few people are going to Double Dragon Manor. Everyone will laugh if you leave, and I'll have no successor. Zhuo Fan was in a tight spot. You saw it yourself. The top 3 elites are no match against 3rd young Master Han, even combined. While I alone can deal with middle 3 sex people, getting the others in Double Dragon Manor. Is that a no? Xie Huiyue mocked. Then why are you wasting time talking to me? Once you leave, I'll be left with weaklings. Even if we get to be a middle 3 sect, are these disciples supposed to be representing us? To be blunt, your strength is worth shit. If you can't take those brats along, don't ever think about leaving. You'll stay here leading. Ugh. Zhuo Fan jerked and Xie Huiyue grinned. Is that too hard, perchance? Didn't you raise Yue and Kuei gang quite fast? The 2 kids are good, yes, but it was done with resolve, harshness, and peril. Those wastrels won't. Zhuo Fan's eyes darted everywhere. Well, bro, give me the word, the kind of word that'll threaten the oldies' power, just how one might kill their grandkids. Eyeing him, Xie Huiyue snickered. I know where you're going. Fine, you have free rein. Just make sure those brats don't drag you down. Xie Huiyue threw him a jade token. Zhuo Fan saw the Xie character on it. That is my symbol of authority, containing a trace of my soul. Every elder and venerable of the sect will treat any holder of it as me. The fate of the sect is at your whims. Holy shit! Why the hell didn't you give me earlier? This bauble would have saved me heaps of time. Zhuo Fan giggled. Xie Huiyue shook his head. When you just arrived, you had nothing to your name and would only cause more trouble with the elders and venerables. While now you have strength and renown. And with this, they will respect you more. While some might fight it, they can't do much against my authority. If you had used this from the start to piss them off, Venerable sure would have used it as an excuse to get to me. Oh, wise and brilliant sect leader, I shall be going now. With this baby here, I'll put those brats in their place. Zhuo Fan had a positively killer grin as he left, unaware of the cold eyes Xiao had as he watched him go. Zhuo Fan, you're growing beyond my expectations. Perhaps it would be for the best if you leave after Double Dragon Gathering. Ha ha ha. On the morrow, Zhuo Fan called for the coaching venerables and picked the disciples for Double Dragon Gathering. Qi Changlong's group of 3, the strongest elites, was the obvious choice. The rest came from the labor office. Gui Hu, Tai Ying Yuling, and Kuei Lang. Yuer and Kuei Gang came as well with some other presentable disciples. The sex barrier cracked open, and Zhuo Fan took a deep breath as he stepped outside after so many years. The rest were excited to see the great outdoors as well. They finally got to sightsee after being stuck in the sect for most of their lives. The fiends had bitter smiles. Hey, Zhuo Fan, sect leader gave you a week to decide. Aren't you rushing things too soon? Fiend Yang worried. Zhuo Fan shrugged. What's wrong with now? I know their strength and have already made up my mind about who comes or stays. Fiend Yang nodded glumly, pointing at Kuei Gang anywhere. I get the others, but why are these fresh, radiant stage disciples needing demonic treasures to fight opponents along as well? They're my disciples. I'm only bringing them to see the world. Ugh. The fiends' faces twitched at Zhuo Fan, finding logical explanations for everything. Dude, you're too pig-headed. We're going to fight to the death with other sects. Yet you're bringing along your disciples for some sightseeing? What are you, tourists? Kuei Gang and Yuer chuckled. They knew by now Zhuo Fan's character. He'd do whatever he wanted, and whenever. I won't have it. I'm telling sect leader about this. This is not a joke. Fiend Yang flicked his sleeve. Turning to rat him out, Zhuo Fan revealed the token and its pressure on the 3. Sect leader's token. Go ahead and say your piece. To it or him is the same thing. Zhuo Fan dangled the token. You know what this thing does, no? So go back and report if you want. Humph. Well, I'll report your defiance for authority. See whose head will fall first. The 3 fiends' faces sank and lamented on the inside. Xiatfa, why did you give it to him? What kind of venerables would they be if they had to listen to Zhuo Fan now? Chapter 607, Zombie Pill. Chapter 607, Zombie Pill. The girls there giggled, seeing the grand coaching venerables of the elite area so deflated some of the usually tough guys there trembled. And even the 3 ex-elites found it hard to stop laughing. What are you laughing at? We're discussing important matters here. Fiend Yang glared at the lot, though it had the opposite effect. The fiends felt utterly stripped of respect. Zhuo Fan chuckled along, chiding. You think sect leaders' token's a joke? Go ahead and laugh it up. Any more disrespect out of you, and you'll be crying next. Come, have a pill to lift your spirits. Zhuo Fan presented a vial with a soothing smell as everyone came over and their faces brightened. Master, another 7th grade pill? Kuei Gang cheered, turning to the others in pride. See that? Stick with Master, and you'll have nothing to worry about. I've taken more pills these days than in the last decade, and not one of them was below 7th grade. The rest were excited, having gone to the labor office, which was being prepped for Double Dragon Gathering. They came to know what true heaven on earth was. It used to be only the elite area having such privilege, making inner and outer sects feel like hell, gulping it down. Everyone looked smug. The fiends were red in the face and jittery. Coming over, they poked his shoulder. What's this? Give us some too, and we won't tell on you. Nope, none for you. Zhuo Fan had a vague smile. Fiend Yang was getting more annoyed by the second. Zhuo Fan, where's that generous bribing style you used on sect leader gone too? You now have the prime opportunity to give us one as well. We're venerables, for crying out loud. You're missing the point. The fact is, Zhuo Fan's trademark evil smile was back in business. If you take it, who'll protect them? I certainly can't. Protect? Ah. The scream came from Kuei Gang. His face froze, his body shivered, and his movement looked robotic, accompanied by trembling. Only his eyes moved freely, and his tongue sun. Kuei Lang was the next victim. Feeling his own body, not listening to his commands, soon came everyone's turn. Everyone going to double dragon gathering, crying and freezing on the spot. The venerables jerked in fright, turning to the culprit. Zhuo Fan, what is going on? Zhuo Fan beamed, dangling the empty vial. This is no mere 7th grade pill, but a poison. Everyone had the same dumbfounded look. Zombie pill. It would stiffen your body and turn you to stone a month later. You're not serious. The poor saps were panicking with Kuei Gang crying, Master, why? Didn't I tell you? One must be intent on killing, but never without his guard up. Why does no one listen to their master? Whoever told you a master will only give you nice things? Zhuo Fan sneered. Their faces sank, looking at Zhuo Fan like kicked puppies. He had such a homey look too. To invite them deeper into the trap, of course, compared to the glares they got from the venerables. Steward Zhuo's insidious nature was much worse, sharing poison with a smile, and they even thanked him for it. There were no dumber fools out there, that was for sure. Fiend Yang grabbed Zhuo Fan's chest. Why did you do it? Who will go to Double Dragon gathering with them dead? Are you going to fight by yourself? Zhuo Fan dangled the token with utmost seriousness. Double Dragon gathering is fraught with perils, you know that. Going as there will only increase their chance of dying. It's best to have them die here at my hand instead. You call that logic? Can't we live a day longer? All had bitter looks in their eyes, though it is not without hope. The zombie pill made you stiff and sapped your cultivation, but all you have to do is keep moving to delay the process. Hold on till Double Dragon gathering, and I'll cure you. As for the rest, tough luck. Zhuo Fan snickered. See this token? Sect leader appointed me as his representative. Your death will be for nothing and your big connections wasted. No one will touch me, and I can do anything. You might as well give up begging now. I won't bat an eye even if you all die. Hi, demon. They were all distressed and heartbroken, while the fiends were stumped if Zhuo Fan gave them a more deadly poison. They wouldn't let this one slide and might even take him from another sect spy. By using slow-acting poison, Zhuo Fan was giving them a lesson, albeit cruel. Zhuo Fan sent a warning to the 3. They're like newborns and will need your constant monitoring. The trio nodded. Zhuo Fan ran over to the other side and slapped his big perky, but I'll be waiting for you a mile out. Do your best not to die just as you got out of the sect. Ha ha ha. He was gone the next second, leaving red tomatoes behind, gnashing their teeth as they made a jerky step forward. It was like having the whole world on their shoulders, moving at snail pace, but nothing compared to the rage. Steward Zhuo, you'll have another thing coming if you think we'll just drop dead. Tough talk for sure, but their body hardened so much that they only moved 1 meter in 15 minutes. The venerables felt like crying. I get that you want to train them, but couldn't you have picked a faster method? Even infants stumbled around faster than them. Just when are we supposed to get there? In decades. Zhuo Fan was chilling in his spot, though he fed them the zombie pill to petrify their flesh and force them into overcoming their limits. Once overcoming it, they'd move, then stiffen again, and would have to go further still on, and on it went, toughening their bodies and veins in months that would take decades for others. Zhuo Fan thought of giving it a shot as well, though it came with a biggie. He needed a guardian angel in this moment of weakness in their states. Being weaker than an infant would get them to drop dead from anything. He, a lone operator, had no way of taking the same route. Meanwhile, the other sects got ready for Double Dragon. Gathering the back mountain of Mystical Heaven sect was a towering hunk of rock, covered in biting winds and eternal snow. It was here a woman walked at leisure with a white sword towards a cave. She bowed. Senior sister, I am going to Double Dragon gathering. Thank you for everything you have done for me in the past few years. The wind fluttered her dress, the snow pricking her cheeks. The time for Double Dragon gathering came at long last. I wonder if you'll come as well. A sigh came from the cave. Ching Ching, you represent me by wielding permafrost. Can I ask something of you? Anything, senior sister. Ching Ching bowed. Another sigh followed. If you meet any from the demon scheming sect, please go easy on them. I'd hate to see him hurt from my blade. although the blade is now with you. Yes, he brought me to this state, yet also made me let go of all regrets. A pleasant voice came. Chapter 608, Every Sex Actions. Chapter 608, Every Sex Actions. Bang. In a damp and dark hall, lit only by a few torches on the sides, the shrieks of spectres sent chills on one spine. In the center of it all sat a table, 2 meters long and 1 meter wide, shaking and creaking as a middle-aged man slammed hard. Say that again. You just got trashed around by a mere laborer? The buffed man stared at the trio. This is an outrage, an insult. Third young Master Han and second young Master Han's eyes met. But it was the former who spoke. Father, Laborer Joufan is far more than he seems. I even doubt if there's anyone that can oppose him among his peers. Sect leader, I can attest to this, having bore witness to second young master's crushing defeat. Elder Mo bowed. The big man flicked his sleeve and roared. All I'm hearing are excuses. You lost, and not just to anyone, but a lower 3-sex disciple. You threw away all my honor. Tell me, son, how should you be dealt with? I trust father's judgment. Second young Master Han lowered his pained face. The hard man said, Since you can't take a single hit, that makes one of your hands useless. Should I relieve you of it? Father, please, don't make second brother handicapped. Third young Master Han was nervous. The man eyed him with an icy glare. For those about to enter the ethereal stage, the body has lost its use. A mere arm will be nothing more than decoration. While I can let you keep it, you will have to endure 49 days on the burning pillar. You decide. Third young Master Han was ashen, looking at his second brother in worry. 49 days under scorching heat. It was akin to being burned alive. Third young Master Han cupped his hands to plead some more, but second young Master Han stepped in. Father, I choose the burning pillar. Second young Master Han bowed. The man nodded, appeased. That's how my son should act. A man must take responsibility for his failures. Wait. A glum-faced youth entered. Elder Mo bowed at once. Eldest young master. The youth nodded and addressed the tough man. Father, brother failed because the gap between them was too great. It's not his fault. But he lost to a lower 3-sex disciple. Even lower than that, a laborer. What of it? The youth showed no fear in face of his father's mask of rage. A hero can come from anywhere. Strength is all that matters, not status. Losing to the strong is no dishonor, and with the approaching Double Dragon gathering, punishing second brother will harm his performance. We will then become the last among the middle 3-sex and the demon scheming sex target. Elder Mo was clear on his strength, and father knows he has the qualities of a middle 3-sex genius. Status isn't everything. The towering man relinquished a nod. In view of Double Dragon gathering fast approaching, the punishment shall be postponed. Further evaluation will be given in light of your performance at the gathering. Thank you, father. Second young Master Han cupped his hands. The man nodded and left through a side door, pausing just before leaving. Eldest, what is your opinion of this sudden labor from the demon scheming sect? A worthy opponent turning the boring Double Dragon gathering into something interesting. The youth snickered. The man nodded and left. I have no hope of you getting us in the superior 3-sex, but the least you can do is maintain our position. In case the demon scheming sect does have the power to rise above its station, we'd better let others take the fall. Father is clearer than anyone on what this labor signifies. The youth grinned and turned to his brothers. In a valley, a youth flashed in the open. He wore a blue robe, his eyes delicate and his aura strong. Taking a deep breath to collect himself, he laughed before the stone door. Junior brother, I'm out of seclusion. What are you waiting for? Double Dragon gathering waits for no man. Senior brother, you're a fine talent coming out so soon. You aren't called the best talent in Western lands for nothing. A sigh came from beyond. Senior brother, I just need a little more time, and I will catch up. The senior brother chuckled. Is that how a junior brother acts? teasing your senior brother? I'm not that shameless to call myself the best talent in Western lands with you around. Why, senior brother has been in the ethereal stage for years while little old me just entered. Senior brother, please don't jest. A chuckle replied the senior brother, shook his head, and waited 6 hours later. Senior brother's patience was running thin when rumbling came from beyond the door. Waves upon waves of energy shot out, spiking the temperature in the valley. The grass and trees dried up and then ignited. Even senior brother felt tense from the sense of his innards boiling. He set his eyes on the closed stone door and sweated. Did junior brother's innate flame? He finally fused it with his soul. Yet it holds such power. This freak, ha ha ha. I bet he just stole my best talent in Western lands title. Senior brother was sullen from a sense of loss. Meanwhile, in a deep and eerie forest, around 20 riders rested beneath the shade of a large tree, their mighty auras scaring animals away whoosh. Something black flashed, and a vicious-looking man barked. Where's Yenemo? Where'd he run off to? Oh, Elder Chinya. A lovely woman mocked. Senior brother Yenemo found it so boring here, so he wanders about. He'll meet us at the Double Dragon gathering. He's at it again, running away by himself. The elder was outraged. His goddamned, rash behavior will get him killed one of these days. What if he comes after the Double Dragon gathering ends? What then? The woman shrugged. It's fine. Senior brother Yenemo will never miss it. He's not a child. Who'd believe that with his track record? The elder spat. Every damn time we have to visit other sects, he slips away. We meet some trouble? He slips away. He's got not one honorable streak in him. But this is Double Dragon gathering, once every few centuries. It affects the future of the sect. Yet he slips anyway. The elder held his aching head. The woman grinned. Then a cold voice came. Elder Chinya, brother Yen won't be late. How do you know? I just do. The man continued. Because brother Yen won't let the chance of meeting the best talent in Western lands go. He will come, ha ha ha. The men looked at each other and nodded in the meantime. Mystical Heaven Sects group reached a bustling town with many trinkets on display. The lively mood had these disciples gawking from being stuck in the sect all their lives. But in a noisy tavern, a red-haired youth with a creepy smile set his eyes on the charming group of beauties on the street. Chapter 609. Overgrown Town. Chapter 609. Overgrown Town. 1212. On a bright day on a wide road, a group of people had taken to a particular type of walking. They twisted with every movement, giving their all as they undertook the sheer ordeal that was walking. From how stiff they were, they looked like polio patients. They were none other than demon-scheming sects disciples whom Zhua Fan cheated by making them take the zombie pill. What started off as a dozen disciples on this journey was now less than 10. Though their stiff faces showed unprecedented resolve, they saw with their own eyes how their teammates turned into solid rock and how the wind carried away their ashes. None wanted the same horrid fate to happen to them. For God's sake, Zhua Fan is savage. Once you stop moving, you're dead. Kuei Lang took another step. Practically hearing his bones and muscles creaking, he turned a worried look behind. Ganger, how are you holding up? Kuei Gang was overwhelmed. Dad, it's been 10 days without my cultivation. I can hardly hold on. I just want to rest. Now I know what they say about a life worse than death. The rest nodded their sorrowful faces, cursing Zhua Fan's lineage as far as they could take it. Kuei Lang gnashed his teeth. Ganger, keep going. Any break will kill you. You saw it yourself. What happens to those that stop? I know, Dad. Master is so vicious. He expects us to go like this to the Double Dragon gathering before curing us. Kuei Gang gulped, his eyes tearing Kuei Lang's side. He only held on so far for his son, or he'd be long since scattered among the clouds. Zhua Fan and the Venerables watched over them from a cliff with ease of mind. Fiend Yang frowned, though. Isn't this enough? So many died already, and if this keeps up, there'll be no point in going. I'll just go alone then. Besides, my word is gold. I'll stay by it to the end and let them endure it until we get there. All those who die are just too weak. Joa Fan snorted. Look at them. Aren't they getting a steady pace by now? Just like plain walking. Now that's progress. You call a habit progress. The trio shook their heads, worried at the disciples' weary and sweaty brows. They're nothing but mortals now, and having gone through such an ordeal for so long, they're at their limit. A break will do them good. Are you sure? Joa Fan raised an eyebrow, his smile creepy. The day of Double Dragon gathering draws near. The trio eyed him and were puzzled. It was like staring at a whitewashed wall, but without all the emotion. Fiend Yang thought Joa Fan was being particularly vague. What's wrong with it? Taking a half-day break won't be a problem. All right then, we'll do it your way. Joa Fan beamed and looked at the far-off town. How about we rest there? The trio nodded skeptically. Why is he so kind all of a sudden? Joa Fan flashed before the tormented souls, shouting, Seeing your great progress these days, the Venerables pleaded for you, and I relented in letting you rest in the town just up ahead. Truly, they all lit up. The harsh 10-day-long journey took its toll on their bodies, teetering on the edge of collapse. Steward Joa's words were music to their ears. Don't dally then. Chop chop. They sped up on the spot. The dangling carrot was too enticing to give up. While still stiff as wood, they were now resembling humans at least an hour past, and they arrived at the town, though it was desolate. There was not a person in sight, nor any signs that they were there. The stillness, from even the lack of animals, was eerie. A ghost town. The Venerables sensed something and frowned. Joa Fan, this is no place to tarry. We better leave soon. Take it easy. We're only going to rest our legs. Joa Fan looked around. Let's look for a tavern and leave these now mortals to rest their laurels. The others nodded. Steward Joa, you're finally showing some compassion. All they got from him was a wide smile as he led them to a tavern. The inside was just as desolate as the town. With dust settled on the chairs, there's no one here. We'll help ourselves then. Joa Fan smiled. The rest sighed. They were too stiff to even twitch. It took so long for them to get here, yet not a single servant was there to serve them. Oh, the humanity. Unfortunately, they just had to make do with doing these things themselves. Or were they about to ask Steward Joa and the Venerables? The disciples dragged their weary bodies into the role of laborers once more. Doing it in the sect or outside was the same as being fated for this job. Everyone shared a forced smile. Joa Fan and the Venerables took a table, releasing their discerning field only to find it devoid of any movement still. This place is strange. By the looks of it, it feels like a demonic cultivator's handiwork. It must have been recent too, going by the furniture's state, half a month at most. Joa Fan knocked on the table. The Venerables nodded. Fiend Yang said, I can only hope he's no longer here. He doesn't stick his nose in our matters, and neither will we. Let him try, and then he'll get it. Humph. Joa Fan cut in. The others snickered. The demonic cultivator must be a rogue one that steals others' cultivation. Without resources, all he can do is resort to these despicable and revolting acts. Unlike them, who had a backer, stopping them from wiping out towns whenever they felt like it. It would only get worse, as they'd be hunted down by righteous cultivators. Unlike rogues, demonic cultivators from a sect had discipline and self-restraint. They were less fearful from the moment they knew they were dealing with a rogue cultivator. How strong could he be when he lacked resources? All he could do was pick on mortals. He stood no chance against these sectarians, though there were exceptions like the really talented rogue cultivators. They were an extreme minority. Cheers! We have overcome the first training. With the cups filled and food served, Joa Fan sported an extra-wide grin as he toasted. The others replied in kind, cheering and enjoying the respite after the meal. Joa Fan slapped the table. Time to go! Whoosh! Tried as they might to get up, they couldn't. They were back to where they started, stiff as a rock. What's going on? Fiend Yang asked. Joa Fan grinned, all-knowingly. Didn't I tell you? Once you take the zombie pill, You have to keep moving or you'll freeze in place. Now that you rested your legs, you're back where you started. You've got to be joking. The victims looked sullen and crushed. They just got walking figured out, and now they were back to square one. The agony and the cruelty of it all waiting to be relished again had them all wish for a swift and easy death. Steward Jua, you duped us. Kuei Lang howled. Jua Fan's grin widened. When pray tell? It's the venerables who wanted you to rest. I warned you, but did you listen? Hey, don't shift blame. You didn't try to stop it either. Yeah, you said we could stop, but we didn't think we'd bounce back to the starting line. How can Kuei Lang complain? Jua Fan scratched his nose like a damn rogue as he admitted it. Yep, I did it on purpose. What are you going to do about it? They all fell speechless. How damn rotten and vile can you be? If we could hold a sword, we'd have run you through by now and hanged your head. Every single one of them held Jua Fan in absolute hatred then. A red blade flashed straight for Jua Fan's throat. We were only thinking of doing it, right? Chapter 610 by Whoosh. The burning red sword was right at Jua Fan's throat. The crippling bloodlust made everyone's skin crawl. Jua Fan's heart tightened, raising his right hand to catch it as it screeched to a halt. He noticed the other end of the sword was held by a 20-year-old dainty girl with big eyes. She unleashed a sharper and deadlier blow than her fifth-layer radiant stage cultivation led one to believe not that it was of any damn use against Jua Fan's squinting. Jua Fan's hand shook, and the girl was sent flying into a table. Jua Fan held the sword proper, his icy eyes staring at the attacker. The three fiends of hell snickered from behind, drinking as if nothing happened. No radiant stage cultivator, even a sneaky one, would get the better of Jua Fan. The trio was enjoying the unexpected attack like a good act, commenting on how the lass was weak, arrogant, and overconfident. Clang. Knocking on the red blade, Jua Fan sized it up, his mouth grinning in an evil way. 6th grade spiritual weapon, and made quite well too. A shame the owner fails to wield it. Why you? The lass glared with hatred. Jua Fan had a smile for her instead. Missy, what on earth are you doing attacking me out of the blue, especially weak as you are? Ha ha. The audience laughed at the comedy. Even the stiff disciples, mocking the girl's stubborn streak. The lass spared no hatred for anyone other than Jua Fan. That's my line. Who the hell are you? Why did you take our young master? Hand him over. Took your young master. Jua Fan and the venerables shared a glance. We just got here 2 hours ago. We don't even know who you are, and you say we took someone? The lass wasn't buying. Liar. Do you see anyone else around? If not you, then who? Despicable demonic cultivators. You all are beyond saving for not even admitting your faults. That touched a nerve in the rest, and it was now their turn to glare at her. Kuei Lang's side would have been tearing her to pieces by now, except for one tiny detail. They were frozen stiff. Jua Fan shrugged, pointing at the lass. See that? That's a righteous cultivator for you. Self-righteous and cocky. What would you guys do if a mere lass would spout such rubbish? Kill her, waste her, torture her, peel her flesh, force on. Yeah, but save it in your condition, all right? Seeing them so gung-ho, Jua Fan cooled them off with a grin. Don't you worry about anything, I have my ways. Why not have her join your club? The kids' eyes glittered, their smiles widening. Steward Jua is the best. Yeah, let her get stiff like us, then die as a rock. Kuei Lang snickered. Sharing one's suffering with another always makes one happier. Though in this case it was just plain mean, since it dragged her into this torture. Jua Fan turned to the girl, his smile widening. She shivered for no apparent reason and panicked. What are you doing? Me? Just giving you a taste of a demonic cultivator's handiwork. Hi. Jua Fan loomed over the lass. His smile disturbing the weak girl, shivered in fear. Losing her tough front the instant, she noticed the twinkle in his eyes. Gulping, her eyes darted around for an out, and she bolted outside the tavern. Jua Fan bam-fed in her face and made her gasp. To make double sure, he also clamped down on her shoulder. the cracking sound earning a cry and a grimace evil smiles were a trend today. As everyone bore it, wallowing in others' misfortune, Juafan held a pill with the other hand and grinned, inching closer to the lass's dainty mouth. Girl, take it and you won't feel pain, since dumb people are too stiff in the head to feel it to begin with. Be nice and big bro here will take good care of you. Hi, hi, hi. What the hell was that? Did you do the same to the young master? The lass saw the pill with fear. Juafan didn't bother explaining and just laughed. Ha ha ha. You'll know soon enough the meaning of hell on earth. The girl shuddered and cried, Help, senior sister, help me. Go ahead, scream. No one's going to save you now. Ha ha ha. The pack of wild beasts being under Juafan's thumb for so long could only find joy in seeing others suffer the same treatment. 3 fiends of hell were beaming as well. They hadn't been this happy in weeks. It's just a pit stop anyway to liven the mood before we resume our journey. Stop. However, just as Juafan was about to stuff the zombie pill into the girl's mouth, a cold shout rang out. In a flutter of white clothes and long fine hair dancing in the wind, the view of a perfect woman laid before them in the doorway, they all gasped. With the fiend's cups slipping from their hands, such a perfect and amazing woman. How come I never knew she existed? Quit your yapping. I'll be with you. Juafan sensed the 8th layer radiant stage cultivation behind him, but didn't care though when he took a look. He stared speechless. Q-ching-ching. Crack. The thunder ring flickered, as did Chu-ching-ching's sister Chin-ching. The girl took advantage of the demon's lapse of judgment and slipped away to get to her side with a victimized look. Juafan let her go as he came to, while the girl went to cry in Chu-ching-ching's embrace. Sister. He is mean. They must have taken young master and sister. Danner, you're wrong here. While he is a meanie, he isn't one so despicable. I know his style all too well. Believe me, they didn't do it. Rubbing the girl's shoulder, Chu-ching-ching soothed her, then gave Juafan a coy smile. I see, steward, Jua's style hasn't changed at all. Still picking on girls. They know each other. They all were slack-jawed, moving back and forth between them. Danner was stunned. The perfect and elegant sister Ching-ching knows such a nasty demon. Juafan scratched his nose, not meeting her gaze. I'm not sorry for the girl when she was the one insisting on casting blame. I was only giving her a lesson, that's all. Everyone was bug-eyed. What the hell? Is the world coming to an end? Steward Jua always moves with purpose and savagery, yet is now coming clean? They always had to be careful when talking around Juafan, lest he snapped. This was the first time seeing this side of him. They looked at him like a stranger. They also turned to Chu-ching-ching with the same shocked expression. Who could she be to make the great steward Jua turn meek? Are the rumors true? Behind every strong man is an even stronger woman? Chu-ching-ching stared at Juafan's uneasy figure with a rare smile. Danner was speechless, having never seen her reveal such a beautiful smile. Juafan, are you saying it's all her fault? Chu-ching-ching questioned. Juafan flicked his head away. Of course, she came casting blame. Is that what a grown man does? Nitpicking with weak little girls. That's me. What about me? Well, the audience was lost for words. What the hell are they doing? The absurdity of it all made the situation fly right past them. But all in all, it looked like lovers flirting. Hey, Steward Jua, what are you doing flirting with a woman? Didn't you say there's only the weak and the strong in this world? They sighed, resigned, with Chu-ching-ching the only one questioning him and Juafan stuck up in his own stubborn ways. Chapter 611, Drunkard. Chapter 611, Drunkard. Spill it, old man. Where are you keeping our people? Shui Ruohua sat on a bench in an inn with a woman in blue and 10 more people next to her. She was glaring at a tied-up, red-nosed old man. The grandpa had no care, his head swooning and wearing a silly smile. Gee, give me wine. Screw you. Shui Ruohua snapped. It's been 5 days, damn drunkard. No matter how much you have drunk, you should be sober by now. Quit your faking, or I'll have to get serious. The threat went right over the old man. swaying all the same and saying wine again and again, rolling her eyes. Shui Ruohua raised her hand. She was going to slap some sense into the drunkard. One to break bones it was then that she heard something from outside. 1, 2. 1, 2-inch. Shui Ruohua tensed and glanced at the woman in blue. Go see what it is. Shui Ruohua, said the woman, looked out the window to see a bunch of zombies taking one painful step after another their way. In the lead were 4 totally average people, while at the side were the ever-familiar Chu Qingqing and Danner leading them, and chatting. The woman in blue jerked as she witnessed junior sister Qingqing's bright smile. She reported, Senior sister Ruohua, it's junior sister Qingqing returning, though she brought a bunch of weirdos. They're all so stiff. She must have caught someone suspicious. Open the barrier and let them in. Shui Ruohua, Brighton the drunkard, shook his head. More innocent people are dragged into this. Such a heavy sin. So you can listen, now stop faking. Once they come in, I'll deal with you. Shui Ruohua sent one last glare and had the rest watch him as he and the woman in blue went outside. The drunkard chuckled as his head swayed. How unbearably naive. Any longer, and the kid would have played me to death. The inn's barrier opened, and the girls walked toward the stiff guys and said, Junior sister Qingqing, did you find the bastard's lair? You got so many captives, and even went so hard on them. They're barely alive. Who are you calling a dead captive? They may be crippled a tiny bit, sure, but you are not to mock them. Talk about discrimination. Zhuo Fan growled, thanks to Shui Ruohua's words. The zombies were in lower spirits, if possible, looking at Zhuo Fan with dejection and bitterness. Steward Zhuo, you're one to talk. You did this to us. Zhuo Fan shrugged, while Shui Ruohua froze. Why, you're... Oh, senior sister Ruohua. I forgot to make the introductions. Chu Qingqing flowed next to Zhuo Fan and grabbed his hand, presenting with utmost joy. He is Zhuo Fan, an old friend from Tianyu. He now represents the demon scheming sect in Double Dragon Gathering. You met once. He heard of our troubles and came to help. Zhuo Fan snatched his hand back with an odd face, blurting, Ah, yes, right. We just stumbled into each other while resting here. We don't care about your business. You guys keep moving and go in, or any slowpoke will be stiff for life. Zhuo Fan went next to his victims and instructed Kuei Lang mourned his plight. Steward Zhuo will never rest again in our lives. You'll go in either way. With how unnatural this place is, you'll be sitting ducks outside, especially in your weak states. Let's just go then. Lu Xie sighed. Zhuo Fan turned frosty. That's for me to decide. I'm the boss here. Lu Xie was outraged. Fool. Steward Zhuo hardly cares about women, and now that he found one that took his fancy, he'll never leave. You can't even see this? Qi Changlong glared. Lu Xie was stubborn. The sect rule says you can dual cultivate, but not sprout feelings. Did you forget? The rules are made for the strong. You have seen it and know it all too well. Qi Changlong snorted. Lu Xie sighed, and the others nodded, feeling the malcontent in their voices. Zhuo Fan was at an impasse on what to do. Not that he gave a hoot for demon scheming sex rules, but they did have one he agreed on. Feelings were a deadly poison to a demonic cultivator. Chu Qingqing saw the sullen Zhuo Fan and chuckled. Whether from loss or disappointment, she kept her face straight, though. He doesn't like meeting new people. Chu Qingqing went inside, ignoring Zhuo Fan. Shui Ruohua was stumped by her bright, yet painful smile. They all soon went inside, and the barrier was restored. The fiends rolled their eyes. They didn't give a damn about this, but since Zhuo Fan did, they had to oblige. The mystical heaven sect must be relaxed to send the disciples without elders. Fiend Yang noticed the cultivations around and smirked. Shui Ruohua sighed. We had 3 elders with us, but the demonic cultivator captured them, leaving us alone. My, how the mighty mystical heaven sect has fallen, to even have its elders captured. Ha ha ha. The fiends mocked. The zombies, joined in mystical heaven sect's group, was furious. Have you demons come to help or kick us when we're down? You were better off not coming at all. Zhua Fan said. Now, you might be captured next as well. Ugh. Fiend Yang groaned. Zhua Fan, what are you doing helping outsiders? Don't you know girls are like clothes, while brothers are your hands and feet? Zhua Fan's face fell, while the people from Mystical Heaven sect looked startled. How tough is he? While we fawn over elders, he has venerables fawn over him. An unnatural and disturbing reversal. Ha ha ha, demonic cultivators are always funny. Running your mouth, then contradicting yourselves. Since girls are clothes, you might as well sell your brothers out to get some. Why all the hesitation? The fiends were annoyed. The dumb speaker was none other than a drunkard wearing a taunting smile. Old fool, say that again. Fiend Yang pointed at him. The old man belched and mocked. Am I wrong? Sure. Girls are like clothes and brothers your hands, but look around you. There are plenty of guys without hands. Yet have you ever seen someone skipping around buck naked? Shui Ruahua's side giggled. It was the first time since they captured the old man that he defended their dignity. Fiend Yang's forehead sported an extra thick vein. Zhua Fan interfered, though. And he is. Seeing the town suspicious, we investigated and only found him around. So we captured him for interrogation, but he never talked. Having helped her once, Shui Ruahua found it natural to explain. Fiend Yang grinned and glared at the old guy. Having found the excuse to get back at him, leave him to me. I'll loosen his mouth. Soon he'll be begging to talk. Hi. The others chilled at his tone. Zhua Fan blocked him and stared before speaking with respect towards the old man. Senior, we have been most rude. Please forgive our transgression. The rest were dumbfounded. Does he know him? The old man jerked. What's the kid playing at? Chapter 6:12. Confusion. Chapter 6:12. Confusion. You know him. Chu Qingqing turned her soft eyes to Zhua Fan. Zhua Fan shook his head. Never seen him in my life. Why then do you show such respect? It's not like you. Chu Qingqing asked. Demon scheming sex gang was most intrigued. If Stewardja never cursed an old man openly, it was already showing respect. Zhua Fan shrugged, looking around before fixing his gaze on Mystical Heaven sect's side. You said everyone in this town was captured, and only he remained, right? Yes, when we arrived it was bustling, but over a few days it became like this. After much searching, we only found him. Shui Ruahua said. Zhua Fan sighed and pointed. Tell me, what is his cultivation? None whatsoever. Isn't he just an average old man? Everyone shook their heads. Zhua Fan grinned. Is it that he has no cultivation that you're mocking? Or maybe he's so high up the realms you can't even sense it. What? All he got was gasps of disbelief. There were even ethereal stage experts here. Yet they still couldn't tell. Just how strong was this old coot? You can tell, then? Shui Ruahua asked. Nope. Zhua Fan shook his head. And that's what makes it frightening. Everyone rolled their eyes and eased up with Shui Ruahua glaring. Then stopped spouting bullshit. You got us scared for a second. There we messed with an expert. Ha, messing or not. It depends on your fortune and the old man's mood. Zhua Fan sported a vague grin. You said it yourself. Everyone in the town was gone, except for this elderly man. That means two things. Either this elder escaped, and the culprits disdained going after him, or the elder is so powerful the culprits had no way of dealing with him. Yet you jumped right to accusing him without so much as a clue how it happened. This offense I fear. Mystical Heaven Sex sighed, hearts tightened, but he's so plain. How is he supposed to be a world expert? Does that mean we're dead? From the pearly white smile the old guy was giving, Shui Ruahua's side was panicking. Then Zhua Fan gave another bow, his tone so annoying he got Mystical Heaven Sex side fuming. Elder, see that? We've only met by chance here. We don't know them. Sir needs to be clear about the guilty parties here. If you have any gripes, take it out on them without any restraint. We'll just stay on the sideline, cheering you on. If you find us an eyesore, then we would gladly leave. Shui Ruahua's side had dark faces. Did you come to help or dig us a bigger hole? Demon scheming sex sighed, laughed it up. Zhuofan, get lost already and stop spinning wild tales and making it worse for us. Damn vile demon spawns, they're all evil. None will help us for real. Shui, Ruahua spat, and Danner followed demon scheming sex gang showed a nasty smile. Like second nature to them, Zhuofan huffed. Think I want to butt in? I only. He peeked at Chu Qingqing, only to see her looking at him with lovely eyes. He swished his head away at once, his heart a mess. Ha ha. The OL drunkard laughed, nodding. Nice one, boy, you got me unlike these softies. Let me give you a warning as a reward. Go now, while you're not involved. They have set the trap, and are about to reap the joys of the hunt soon enough. You have no chance against his sharp mind. Leave while you can. The rest were startled. Zhuofan was right. As if to cement his theory, the drunkard flexed, and the ropes binding him fell to pieces just like that. Even Zhuofan shuddered. Just the fact the rope was dealt with without the single sign of Yuan Qi leaking showed he had reached a godly level in raw power. Such precise control pointed at high cultivation and heart. The old man was far worse than he thought, and Zhuofan was stern stretching about. The old man chuckled. Where's the wine? How can this be an inn without a drink? Venerable Fiend Yang, take out the wine you took from the tavern and offer it to Senior. Zhuofan said. Fiend Yang complied, his brow soaked. He realized at last the old man was a monster, so much that his skills looked like parlor tricks by comparison. Then came the crushing regret. What's wrong with me? Why had I been taunting the old guy? He just has to be petty and my poor life would be gone. Shui Ruahua's side was struck by abject fear. They were the ones who messed with the monster. Most the old guy chuckled. It's far too late for regrets, though. Do you know how all who messed with me ended up? Ha ha. He scared the kids, though Zhuofan didn't buy it. Sir shouldn't scare the kids. They did it out of ignorance. If Sir were to nitpick, they'd be goners ages ago. I can see Sir doesn't stoop to their level, seeing their naive nature. I must say, I admire Sir's jovial nature in playing with people's feelings. Ha ha ha, nice one, kid. You turned it around, so it'll make me look bad if I do strike them. The old man's eyes glittered. Since you gave me some wine, I'll give this one for free. Leave now. You won't stand a chance if you stay. The old man then walked out of the inn, and everyone jumped out of his way creek. The brilliant sun shone through the open door, and the old man sighed. So late, there's no escape now. Kid, you're on your own. This had nothing to do with you. Alas, this is fate. The old man went through the barrier like nothing. The rest gasped. They captured a monster who could cross barriers without a sign, meaning his cultivation must have reached the pinnacle. See that? If not for our steward Zhua reminding you of your offense, you'd be dead. Thank him already. Kuei Lang shouted at the girls from Mystical Heaven sect. They all stood dumbfounded. Then thanked Zhuofan with their eyes. Fiend Yang held Zhuofan's shoulder, reproaching. I told you not to get involved. You were this close to getting instantly killed by a worldly expert. I almost peed my pants from fear. Got that muddled kid. Shoo. Zhuofan gestured and pointed outside. Fog is coming. The others saw the sun covered in thick fog and the world darkening. Fiend Yang asked, What's odd about evening mist? True, but have you ever seen a fog that blocks divine sense? They all released their discerning field to find nothing in its range. The fog was eerie, stopping everyone's discerning field dead in its tracks. Zhuofan's mood was heavy. The old man was right. We're stuck here now. Chapter 613. An Old Demon's Experience. Chapter 613. An Old Demon's Experience. What do we do now? Shui Ruohua turned to Zhuofan. As did the others, all that happened cemented their trust in Zhuofan. Even Mystical Heaven Sex Group, Zhuofan answered. Know thyself and your enemy, and you shall be ever victorious. So before we try tackling the problem, we must know what we're dealing with. I sensed something wasn't right about this place, but didn't have the details. We clear this up, and then we can act. Zhuofan went back inside with the rest, while the barrier grew smaller from the thick fog, sizzling. It's like this. In the glum inn, they all sat around a table with a single candle. Kuei Lang's gang was not included. warming up at the side to keep the blood flowing and the stiffness at bay. They added the musical element to the situation, by the cracking of bones and snapping of muscles. An eerie vibe all in all. Shui Ruohua felt a shiver on her back. Doing her utmost not to watch those creepy things crackling, we set off for Double Dragon gathering a fortnight ago. As we passed through here, we stopped at a tavern where we met a red-haired youth with sinister eyes, a demonic cultivator, no doubt. It's definitely the work of demonic cultivators. Zhuo Fan and the fiends shared a glance. The youth was pushy with our sisters, so young master shouted at him, which made him angry. Unable to do anything since we had 3 elders with us, he left. What we took as fear turned out to be a plan for the next morning. Everyone in town was gone without a trace. The elders urged us to leave, but young master was gone as well. Zhuo Fan asked Shui Ruohua, grieved. Yes, young master is weak from illness, and now that he's gone, we're worried sick. We looked everywhere but found nothing, while the elders vanished one after the other as well. Every time we went searching, we got fewer and fewer. All we could do was set up a barrier and search only during the day. Playing cat and mouse. Zhuo Fan called out what the fiends were thinking. Shui Ruohua asked, "What's that?" "It's a game. A cat plays with the mouse once it catches it rather than eating it right away, relishing in its victim's every expression of agony." Zhuo Fan grinned. "Why would the culprits pick you out a couple a day when they had no trouble taking every townsfolk and your elders? Taking you all prisoners would be far too easy. But instead, they let you experience dread like no other, living in fear day after day. That's playing cat and mouse." Mystical Heaven Sec's heart sank and nodded. Zhuo Fan sighed. "I used to play this game when I got bored, but now it lost its thrill." "Ha ha ha, heroes do the same. We used to mess around as well, but ever since becoming venerables, we didn't have the time and lost interest." Fiend Yang laughed. "To be frank, back in the day, I'd find myself an eyesore and mess around with him for kicks." The 4 nodded and laughed. Shui Ruohua's side was sullen. "Sickos. Humph, no demonic cultivator is any good. You're all vile for toying with someone's life." Danner reproached while the 4 stayed silent. Kuei Lang felt the need to answer, crying next to the lass. "Damn right. You are all so evil, doing this to us. I can't take it any more." "Oh, there's someone wise among demonic cultivators." Dana looked shocked and amazed, but then felt the need to strangle him by what she heard. "Can you stop with the peeling, flaying, and whatnot? How fun is that anyway? Is it fun wasting time over nothing? I just knew you're all lost causes." Danner wailed. Zhuo Fan sighed, laughed. He sure liked poking fun at the lass. "Girlie, even demonic cultivators have gentlemen and thugs. Kuei Lang here is in the latter category, unlike us men of culture and refinement, savoring the person's prolonged agony, relishing their every cry. Ha ha ha." Zhuo Fan's group laughed along with each other, making Danner feel worse as she hugged Chu Qingqing for comfort. "Sister, how can humans be like this? Ha ha, didn't I tell you they were bad? Learn to accept it." Chu Qingqing snapped a glare Zhuo Fan's way. Zhuo Fan quibbled with an arched eyebrow. "Why are you looking at me? I'm only helping some panicky sister's young master on account of the happy times back then, though I reckon he's dead by now." "So, you admit it now?" Chu Qingqing beamed at him with a warm gaze, skipping over the life of a poor man on the line here. She went straight to the two's comings and goings. Zhuo Fan spoke with pride. "Of course. First things first, the kid loves playing around with a calm mind and sharp intuition. Or he'd have snuffed you all out the minute you butted into his play instead of taking one a night. He took your crippled young master to trap you here and let him have his fun at your expense. You are not to talk bad about young master. He is only ill. You said it yourself, he's in poor health, so what's it to me?" Zhuo Fan's voice cut Danner's sharp reprimand on the spot. Letting her choke on her words, Danner turned a pleading look to Chu Qingqing, but she giggled. "Steward Zhuo is so wise and experienced in the ways of the world. As a senior, I can tell with ease what his damn game is. Just how many times have we done it in our days? Fiend Yang replied to Zhuo Fan in pride. So true, and the kid sure feels like an expert in his games. Having no setbacks so far, his heart must be brimming with pride and confidence. We've gone through too many hellish matters to keep our inner child naive and playful. That's why I've been saying we no longer play these games. We're better off cultivating our strength. Zhuo Fan nodded sagely. The kid is green at heart, making his pride leave holes in his grand plan. Shui Ruohui watched in absent shock how these devilish people unraveled everything she had to admit against some toying demonic cultivators. These old veterans right here were the best men for the job, unlike them. Losing their heads the instant young master was gone and playing further in the enemy's hand fiends aside. Why was it the young Zhuo Fan who gave her the feeling he was more shrewd and sharp than these oldies? It gave Zhuo Fan an air of mystery. Deadly for young maidens such as herself, Zhuo Fan was like a throne buried under the sea she just had to uncover. That settles it. Zhuo Fan eyed everyone. The guy must have pushed you close to insanity these 2 weeks. He cleared the town to set the mood and give him an edge in achieving his goal. It was just then we walked in, and an ignorant lass saw my stiffies and jumped to conclusions in fear that I was the culprit. So she ran at me like a crazy broad with pointy metal. You're the crazy one. Danner bit back. Zhuo Fan smiled. No one crazy would have seen the 3 ethereal stage experts around me. Yet you just came on stab bin. Are your eyes for decoration, fool? Sister Ching Ching, he's mocking me. Danner whined, and Chu Ching Ching smiled. Patting her shoulder, she then eyed Zhuo Fan. I'm curious, though, what's up with them? Just like you, disobedient, and now their punishment is my joy. Zhuo Fan showed his pearly whites. Mystical Heaven Sex gang shuddered, looking at the stiff group. All demonic cultivators are vile and cruel. This was worse than them being toyed with. Chapter 614, Captured. Chapter 614, Captured. Chu Ching Ching gave him a long look and smiled. I know your style, so save it. You've been in the Luo clan for so many years, and not once have you used your evil tendencies on them. Zhuo Fan, she has you down pat. Now that she mentions it, you never were mean to your people in the sect either. I can see why you are with her, ha ha ha, so you must be close. Fiend Yang looked from Chu Ching Ching to Zhuo Fan with a knowing smile. Zhuo Fan's face fell, glared at Fiend Yang, and then said, Desperate times call for desperate measures. Staying any longer will lead to our doom. It's better we leave at once. What about young master and the elders? We can't just leave them. Shui Ruohua cried. Fiend Yang mocked her for the idiot she was. Stay here and let the guy play you like a fiddle. While leaving will make him sour and force his hand. We'll draw him out, turning the tables. If you can't see even this logic, Mystical Heaven Sect is hopeless. Shui Ruohua lowered her flushed face. Fight fire with fire. In this case, demonic cultivators against demonic cultivators. They have more experience and should listen to them. Shui Ruohua cupped her hands. I leave it all to you. Then let's. SSS. Sizzling cut off Zhuo Fan's words as the fog slipped in through the cracks everywhere he looked, like a demon's claw. Ready to maim everyone, flustered and jumped back, looking apprehensive. W, what about the barrier? How did the fog slip in? Shui Ruohua turned to Zhuo Fan. She found this man, the only one reliable here. Despite being a stranger, Zhuo Fan explained. Didn't the rest get taken at night? Yes. Shui Ruohua replied. Zhuo Fan sighed. The guy wants to take initiative, taking us all before leaving. What? Why then is it in the evening? It's not the right time, Zhuo Fan mulled. Have any of your disciples been captured lately? Shui Ruohua frowned and shook her head. No, not since we set up the barrier. Ha ha ha, the guy is brilliant. You saw it yourself. Your barrier is useless. He had his own reasons for staying his hand so far. Zhuo Fan's eyes sharpened. Did any disciples vanish while you had the elder tied up? Shui Ruohua pondered. You're right, there were none. Does that mean it's the old man's doing, and not the youth's? What utter nonsense. The elder could have snapped your necks at any time. Fan sighed. The guy must have been afraid of the elder, but that variable is now gone, and he's free to act. Ruohua and the rest were speechless. Never for the life of them would have concluded the same guy they had tied up was their lucky charm. And now the charm just flew out the door. If only we knew, we'd have treated the mister with respect. How can we be so blind? Ruohua's gang was wallowing in self-pity. Fan picked up on it at a glance. He turned to the encroaching fog with a frown. What's done is done. Stop feeling sorry for yourselves and get upstairs. We need to put some distance from the fog. Fan pulled Chu Ching-Ching's exquisitely soft hand and was first to go. Chu Ching-Ching gave him a look and let him take her fine hand with a brilliant smile. He's always cold to me, but at least he has me in his heart. Steward Joie, what about us? The rest followed after him, almost all. Since Kuei Lang's gang was stiff as a board, they had a pretty tough time moving with any grace. He watched the incoming fog like a beast's maw. Ready to tear into him, Kuei gang, and Yuer pleaded, Master, can you release our poison until this is over? The fiends nodded. The situation was grave, and they had no time to dally with training. Fan thought, scoffed, ha, release you? My word is golden, and nothing in the world will ever change that. So you better put that energy into running and not waste words. The victims were in tears. There was no way they could escape in their stiff predisposition. All felt like death was better off. At least they wouldn't suffer as much. As the fog crept over, they gnashed their teeth and pushed on faster. When the going gets tough, the tough get going. Spurred on by the imminent threat looming behind them, they gained speed, though hardly much, but faster than your average human. Fan raised an eyebrow. Well done. I think I didn't give them the proper incentive to work hard till now. Fan, this is no time for training. Who knows what the fog is hiding? I don't want to end up with only you at Double Dragon Gathering. At the incoming fog on the stiffies, the fiends were further on edge. Fan waved their worry away. All the more reason to let them test the waters. SS. Even Mystical Heaven Sex gang gasped at his cruelty. Is he human or devil? He's throwing his fellow comrades to the wolves. Won't they die? Such a savage, demonic cultivator is a rarity. Fiend Young eyed him. Why, you're crazy. What about Double Dragon Gathering? What if it fails? Lighten up. Didn't we guess the guy's intentions? He's only playing. I believe he'll only capture them, though I'm all a-quiver on how he'll take them away. No matter how strong, wiping a town clean of its residents is harder than it looks. It's easier to kill them all. Fan's eyes glinted. This is the only way for us to leave through the fog. All switched to looks of adorations. His mind is so sharp, his heart steeled, able to keep calm in the most serious danger like this. Demon Scheming Sect has brought up a true talent, so that's why the Venerables defer to him. Fiend Yang wiped his brow. You're right. They'll be fine for a while. This tactic is so much better. I just forgot myself there. Save me. On cue, the wails of the first victim echoed through the inn. Kuwait gang, the slowest slowpoke, got caught, letting out one single cry before vanishing. Fan's eyes took in everything with deadly calm. Ganga. Kuei Lang wailed at his son's misfortune. Even charging right into the fog after him, his cry snuffed out the instant he touched the fog pressed on after the rest, swallowing the fearful prey. As they shouted, the scene drove an even more desperate fear in the survivors. Trembling as the fog went up the stairs, only Fan watched with a twitchy ear. Peculiar, the taken don't look like dead nor captives, so why can't we sense them? Chapter 615. Fiend Yang's Demise. Chapter 615. Fiend Yang's Demise. SS. The eerie fog swallowed the stiffies and their cries in a jiffy. Now creeping in higher, the others were panicky, looking at Fan for a solution. Fiend Yang was sweating. I just can't tell what this thing is. Even ethereal stage experts will have a hard time passing through it. The people's hearts thumped in their chests. Where does that leave us dead? Calm down and watch. Zhuo Fan pulled Chu Qingqing higher. She followed him with a carefree smile. Her eyes only seeing her man, the fiends were annoyed. Zhuo Fan, you threw 10 disciples to the fog, yet you want more? We'll all soon end up dead. Take it easy. We didn't hear anything when the fog took them, because they're caught. I'll save you as soon as I figure out this process. Zhuo Fan waved his hand. The fiends were stumped. You us? What's that supposed to mean? Since I can't tell what's happening right now, I'll need more live subjects until I do. You decide who gets to go. I'll soon save you anyway. Zhuo Fan raised an eyebrow. The fiends' faces twitched, cursing. Why the hell don't you try it yourself? I could die, rushing into the unknown. Zhuo Fan taunted. You take me for a fool? You should die first, humph. Chu Qingqing giggled at the side. You don't want to go, so you're making others do it. Just like old times. You haven't changed one bit. The fiends were dumbstruck. And you're saying we are the fools? Of course not. Just that among everyone here, I am the one with sharper eyes and can refine pills and raise barriers. What can you do? Only alive can I save you. While with me gone, you'll soon follow. That leaves the crucial mission of testing the fog to you, while I wait behind in safety. Zhuo Fan showed his trademark evil smile with an exasperating raise of the eyebrow. The trio nodded in the end. The damn kid is a pain, but why must he be so bloody right? Leaving this place alive would only be possible through him and his expansive wisdom. The trio resigned themselves. But they'd be damned if they'd be the first to take this retarded option of dying their eyes swiveled to mystical heaven sect. With the fog creeping in and cutting our space, who'll go first? They all gulped, shaking their heads like their lives depended on it. It made one wonder which was worse, the fog or the 3 venerables' threat. Humph, you started this. Our disciples just fell victims, and now you're freaking grasping at straws? Get out there and test the fog. Fiend Yang shouted. Either you do it, or I make you. Fiend Yang's aura exploded, flexing his 4th layer ethereal stage cultivation on these hapless, profound heaven disciples. Is this demon taking his anger on us? They shook there in their corner, inching back as the fog grew closer while watching the venerables in fear. They were stuck as to the right course of action. Please don't force them, seniors. I will go. Shui Ruohua stepped out with dignity, glancing at Zhuo Fan with a plea. We got into this mess, and I thank you for coming to our rescue. I only hope my sacrifice will be of help to you and my fellow disciples in leaving here alive. Zhuo Fan nodded and gave a cold wave of his hand to get to it. Already. Quit dawdling, and I'll be sure to watch every second of it. Shui Ruohua lamented and sighed. He's so cold. A sinking feeling took hold of her heart. Chu Qingqing muttered, Senior sister, should I go instead? Whatever for? Zhuo Fan frowned, his grip harder on her hand, sensing his care. Chu Qingqing's heart grew fuzzy. I've been under Senior Sister's care ever since I came to Mystical Heaven Sect. Now it's my turn to help. Junior Sister, it is my duty as the leader of Mystical Heaven Sect's group. I have to do this. Shui Ruohua spoke with conviction, and Pride Zhuo Fan's eyes darted from her to Chu Qingqing and pointed at Fiend Yang. Neither, you will go. Screw you, you infatuated sap. Why should I go? Fiend Yang exploded. Zhuo Fan shrugged. You're the ethereal stage expert here. I feel like wanting to see the fog's effect on one. Will it be the same as the rest, or you'll put up a fight? Is it toxic fumes or an array? Letting those weaklings go won't get me any answers. Fiend Yang's heart beat out of his chest, his face miserable, yet no way to retort. Turning to Fiend Gue and Fiendine, they found the walls much more interesting than him. MHM, the kid makes sense. You go. Fiend Yang, your sacrifice is much needed to show us brothers the way the 2 sold him out, and Fiend Yang was fuming. You rotten piece of you side with him and leave me to die? This is what I get for having you brothers, for centuries. Venerable Fiend Yang, you won't be dying. Don't you trust me? Zhuo Fan beamed Fiend Yang's side. Rather be safe than sorry, though it hardly makes a difference. If you can't get anything out of my going, you'll be following soon enough anyway. Besides, I survived Double Dragon Gathering, so I can survive anything. Fiend Yang walked on with conviction. The rest admired him. These demonic cultivators are foul beyond reason, yet quite heroic when the need arises. Not like mystical heaven sex disciples, all shying from danger. More scared than a woman, it was the least respect they could give these foul miscreants. Whoosh! Fiend Yang struck the fog with a palm attack. The mighty blow boomed into the fog, yet had no effect whatsoever. Fiend Yang's heart tensed, giving the fog enough time to grab him. Just a touch was all it needed, and Fiend Yang cried, "Zhuo Fan, this is—" Whoosh! His voice was cut off, and his body was engulfed in front of the shocked audience. Fiend Yang! The other two fiends shouted. A powerful expert like Fiend Yang fell, just like nothing. What the hell is this thing? Zhuo Fan's brows were tight in thought. This fog is not deadly by far, or it wouldn't leave its victim to even make a peep. By the looks of it, Fiend Yang found something. Maybe this thing prevents any sounds from escaping, holding them in place for the mastermind to tie them up. It's certain that no one inside is dead, just frozen and unable to speak. What matters is how to go in and save them. Fiend Een, continued the others, rejoiced to learn the fog didn't take lives. Though vexed as to how to deal with it, it all came down to how to cross it without falling prey. Zhuo Fan's gaze drifted. Just what is this odd thing?